Hello!
Hi.
Welcome back. It has been 2 weeks since we've done basically anything Screen Source related or trailer reaction related. And it has been a good time. First off, I want to say thank you so much for taking over hosting duties.
It was absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah, and it was a lot of thank you, Stanley, for coming by and coming by again.
What a blast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
nice
was
to
great.
meet you. You guys were actually a lot of fun to watch. I was on vacation and I still sat and managed to watch Screen Source. It's
that's a
High
good
praise
compliment.
indeed.
yeah, it's a good show. And thank you, Cheska, for being here. Jess and I
Yay.
are back finally. And this is the new studio. This is the first episode of our new studio, my second bedroom, where we'll be probably shooting a lot more stuff here.
Yay.
But with all of that in mind, we have the trailer or teaser trailer reaction. Teaser trailer
Those
reaction.
2 weeks?
To
He hasn't been practicing his
Succession.
tongue
Yeah, I
twisters.
know. Blah, blah, blah. Teaser trailer reaction to Succession. You guys chat. All right, yeah. So let's jump right into this, and then we can go into more film and television news reviews and some more trailers.
I think it's time to play the game.
We're playing the game.
Kids, I changed my mind. I'm staying on as head of the company.
He's gonna blow the firm's credibility.
I was about to be announced.
It wouldn't necessarily be you.
I want the top job.
Who's in charge right now?
I am.
It's my company.
The only way he'll respect you is if you try to destroy him.
Are you gonna cry? Are you crying?
Yeah.
Because he was in Scott Pilgrim
Nice.
versus the
Yeah.
World. Yeah.
All right, that was
Good actor.
what was that? A whole 30 seconds.
God,
Well, it is a
I don't
teaser.
know.
Yep.
Right on.
You sound like you're not excited about this.
It just looks like all of those shows that are constantly getting made, like political shows, and it's like, well, but is it going to be a good one though?
Sure.
Because there's so many of them constantly coming out. So
Yeah, so this
I don't
isn't,
know.
as far as I understand, it's not like politics, although it's the politics of a company. It is
Right.
this father who is about to retire, and then there are 4 children fighting for the heir to the throne, essentially.
right.
Yeah.
And the oldest brother is the guy that we keep seeing. I forget his name.
Yeah, I've seen him a lot.
Yeah,
recently.
you'll see him everywhere.
He makes me think of Tony Hale from Arrested Development.
He does
he
kind
does
of
A
look
bit
look
of
like
like a
him.
more aggro Buster Bluth.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
guys feel about this? You excited? You're not excited?
So it's a TV show.
Yes, on HBO.
It's HBO TV show.
Yeah,
It's
Getting a lot of hype already.
the Big Short. This is the creator.
I
or
think
the,
either
director?
the
Is it
creator or
Adam McKay?
producer. I can't remember.
If
Yeah,
it's
who
Adam.
does it's a lot of stuff with Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he
Yes,
does all the
yeah.
Step Brothers. And
same guy,
So
yeah.
that's
Ah.
interesting.
All right.
And Will
Yeah.
Ferrell's also one of the producers on
Okay,
this.
it changed my
Okay.
mind.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that
That
it's-
changed my mind.
It's it's who's behind the
changed your mind
camera
just
that
the
makes
name.
you know
Well,
that makes
it's
a
funny.
difference.
Just the Big Short was a real turn from like Step Brothers and
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Serious
Anchorman.
film.
So,
Yeah,
But it-
very.
Did it win
interesting. Yeah.
awards? Or it was nominated
believe it
for a
did,
bunch?
yeah.
Somebody got nominated. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Somebody got.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It was-
I've
it
seen
was-
Spotlight, which was at around the
I
same
always
time
mix
period.
those up. Spotlight and The Big Short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
We should watch that.
with everybody who's going to be in on this at first, because the thing is, it's immediately like super easy to just kind of be like, oh look, it's the affluent being shitty to each other again. But
Yeah.
with the minds that are behind it, it might actually be interesting, and I'll definitely give it a look.
Yes.
I'll give it a chance.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Watch the first couple episodes, see how it turns
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That seems fun.
I'm going to wait.
I'll let him sell it, Jimmy.
Yeah.
You into this, Jessica? Do you watch shows like this?
Yeah, I watch shows like this all the time. Like I used to watch House of Cards.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like over and over. So I actually need a replacement for that.
Okay.
Ah,
Very
well,
fair.
Here we go.
I've heard Damages is good. Have you watched that one?
I've seen Damages, but I'm not too
Not super
not
into it.
too keen. I'm
Yeah.
actually very picky with the political serious shows.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
to track down The West Wing on streaming, but I can't.
West Wing. I thought it was
I thought it was
on.
on
West Wing is
Netflix.
too happy though.
It's too optimistic.
It's too optimistic.
It's
in
the
this
Teletubbies
timeline.
of.
It was a different
yeah.
time, mind you. Clinton was president.
All right, fair.
Okay.
So
We
all
were
in
in a
all,
surplus, people.
I'd say the teaser trailer. It wasn't straying much from the other trailers that we saw. I think we had 2 teasers and another trailer, a full trailer, and it felt like a lot of the same stuff. But otherwise, I am intrigued, and I can't watch. What do we watch all the time, Jess? I can't watch Hulu or HBO because we watch everything on demand, and I can't watch anything Hulu without that trailer just on repeat over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are we watching? We're watching Westworld. That's why.
Yeah.
good show. HBO's probably going to kill it. I wouldn't doubt that this is going to be a decent show at least. Anyways, let's move on to our news segment. First news segment, that is me, I believe. Yeah, James Marsden has been cast in the new Sonic the Hedgehog film. So this is a live-action film, a lot like that of the most recent one was that was announced at least was Detective Pikachu. That's gonna have Ryan Reynolds in it, playing Pikachu, I believe, or is he playing the counterpart to? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was supposed to be just like alternate universe. It was supposed to be something like it was this world.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be something like this world, only like and Pikachu wore the little deer stalker
Yeah,
cap,
yeah.
and he had a voice.
Right.
And they said it was a deep manly voice.
It's like your
so,
voice,
yeah.
honestly.
I want that voice still.
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched the trailer,
yeah,
They were originally considering Danny DeVito.
Danny
Okay.
DeVito. Oh.
You know what?
No, no,
All right.
Go back.
It should be
Going
Danny
too
DeVito
far.
opposite Pikachu. It would have felt a lot like Who Framed Roger Rabbit to me,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite.
DeVito and Danny DeVito is Pikachu.
He's playing both characters,
Yeah.
No.
And he's also the victim.
kind of like how Ryan Reynolds played
Every character.
He's like the Peter Sellers. It's the Doctor Strange-a-chew of the.
Doctor Strange.
Can I just have Charlie Day as Meowth and that would be okay?
Ah,
that would be the,
wow.
That would be the redeeming factor of that.
That's amazing.
That
I
would be
love
good.
that.
That would be
Anyways,
good.
yes.
Are we? Do we know much about? Is he playing Sonic?
We
or is
don't
he-
know what he's doing yet. I'm assuming
play
he's going to play opposite Sonic, or he's going to play Sonic.
Maybe Sonic's handler.
Yeah,
No.
he could be.
Let
Yeah,
the
yeah,
man
Cyclops
have a
to
chance.
Sonic.
yeah. If he doesn't play Knuckles, I'm not watching it.
So edgy.
So edgy.
edgy.
Yeah, look at those.
Look at that.
Look at
Eyes.
that edgy boy face.
Look at those eyes
Okay.
and singular eye in other movies.
Picture that.
Is he on your shirt? Nope.
No,
Ah, there he
this
is, down
yeah.
there.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
he's Cyclops.
there
Yeah.
Hey.
I want you to
were-
picture that
yeah.
face and just saying seductively, "You're too slow."
You're too slow.
I-
Okay. And so he's the reason like Sonic has to get
Sure.
fast.
Yes.
It's an origin story.
That is
There we
the
go.
Yeah.
origin story.
Yeah,
go.
I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. How do you guys feel about James Marsden in this?
I just no.
I'd have to. I gotta have to. I'd have to see more
Sure.
about the whole thing.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
look in my head. It could be like this cheesy, like the like what did
Disconnect?
they? Yeah, it could be a cheesy disconnect. Yeah. They
Yeah.
did not Space Jam, but they did like a Looney Tunes equivalent, and like
Oh,
some
you're
of them
right.
just aren't good. This
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
action
Oh, yeah, back in
crossover.
action.
Yeah.
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 Man, Space Jam.
Space Jam was good.
It's been a long
That's
time
a good
since
film.
movies like that have been good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I-
that's what we
Unfortunately.
should keep saying. Stop making these.
Yeah.
They're not
Stop,
good.
stop remaking good movies.
Yeah.
Sure,
Stop
yep.
killing the movies that I love
Yep.
by
Well,
remaking them into bad movies.
If there are any movies of Sonic, I imagine they're all just the animated part of the animated series or creators. I used to
Right.
watch this show when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was gonna
Which
say,
one?
wouldn't that be weird if it was Jaleel
Yeah.
White voicing Sonic in this one?
Oh no.
Michael Jai White.
Keep it as a
Oh,
cartoon.
there you go.
There we go.
Gotta go fast.
I love Sonic.
Oh, God.
Nice. All right.
papers.
What's our next piece of news here?
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this one is a little bit that I got from the Hollywood Reporter, and it's just the fact that Julian Dennison, who plays the one of the focal characters in Deadpool 2, is cast in the new Godzilla movie. Now let me bring this up here.
So the new Godzilla movie is called.
Okay, it is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh.
Yeah. And says the young actor who's rep by Link Entertainment, Stride Rocket, and Jackway joins a cast that includes Avengers Infinity War star Van Martin.
Don't
Who's-
know.
That name is not
I'll look him
familiar.
up while you keep reading.
Yeah, okay. And Crouching Tiger's Ziyi Zhang. And she
Nice.
was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, she has
She the
been-
main character in Crouching Tiger?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
the,
she
the
was
young, the young girl.
Yes.
Jen was was
Yes.
the character's name. She was
Right.
the one who had stolen the Green Destiny.
Yeah.
Wow, that was 20 years ago. Okay, yeah, and it says Adam Wingard is going to be directing Legendary
Nice.
Entertainment. Yeah, with in conjunction with Warner Brothers, they're putting together a monster universe that's centered around all the classic silver screen characters that we've got here. Yeah, so it said apparently the first installment for this, because they didn't really kind of put it together as a cohesive thing before, as far as I know, was the 2014 iteration of Godzilla.
Yes.
And then Kong Skull Island was basically the follow-up to that. So effectively, they put him on a collision course. I didn't see either. So if it was kind of like if there were hints to it, they went straight past
The first
me.
Godzilla, or well, the most recent iteration of Godzilla, aside from the Japanese version that came out a couple of years ago, Shin Godzilla, which I still haven't seen. I'm mad at myself. Was very good. It was an interesting Godzilla because it felt split into two parts. It was like military, and then it was like.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, you weren't a big fan?
I wouldn't say it was like wonderful.
Sure, but it was a good time.
It
was a
time.
good reboot of the franchise.
It was okay.
Okay. So literally the only thing that they have to say on top of that, aside from Julian Dennison's casting, is just that there's another Godzilla sequel coming out beyond Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay.
It's called Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
And it looks like they've already got Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, and Millie Bobby Brown on board for this one. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Currently in production as we speak.
That sounds like a
Cool.
good cast.
Yeah,
Watch
not
that.
a bad way to do it. Plus, it was like I like the idea, especially because we tried to be optimistic about like Pacific Rim and the other stuff in as much as we could.
Sure.
Because seeing really big things knocking the shit out of other really big things, that's just exciting for tiny humans.
Sure, yeah.
know?
The Rampage did really well in the box office.
You know what? It really did. Yeah, I was
was
at
a lot of
first
fun.
I was like, oh, that's not nice, and it was like, no, actually, it killed. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson can make anything.
It
You
was
see his
The
Lewis-
Rock. It was all
The Rock is the goods, man.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
can't
He doesn't even need to
underestimate.
go by The Rock anymore. That's how good he is.
Oh,
yeah.
a long time ago, he was just Dwayne, but yeah, it was just like he could still just go by The Rock, and I'd be okay with that.
I love this kid. Hunt for the Wilder People was my introduction to him.
Oh, yeah.
Taika Waititi film, who did Thor Ragnarok eventually. He was great in that. He was great in Deadpool 2.
Incredibly charming kid.
Yeah, even in interviews, he does a really good job playing this. I think he's only like 14 or 15
he's
or
a
something.
youngin'.
He's young.
Yeah, because Hunt for the Wilder People only came out like 2 years ago, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was just like,
no, it's a little older than that, I think.
I thought it was
It might be
2015 or 2016.
2015, 16,
Jeez,
something
Taika
like that.
just went back to back.
Yeah,
he did.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
seriously. But you know what? I think he's going to be a good fit for this because the kid, just like as a burgeoning up and coming, like a comedic presence in all of this, he's really good. Like
He's
this
so
kid
funny.
is talented.
Yeah, super talented.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing what it's like because all of this stuff it checks off a lot of the boxes of what I like.
Sure.
So yeah.
How do you guys feel? You guys like this kid?
I love this kid.
I really do.
He's
Yeah.
so cute and
He
he's
really is.
adorable.
funny and
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that he played a little bit more of a. I mean, he kind of plays a badass in Hunt for the Wilder People too. When he's like, what does he say when he's cocking the gun? Does anybody remember?
Shit's about to get real.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, so good. And he did it like in like beat. And then in Deadpool 2, he's also had that like scary side to him where you.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so. Especially just. Oh, we'll talk.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that
we'll
later.
get into Deadpool 2 a little bit later. But anyways, what is our next piece of news here? Damn, I should just click, not scroll.
You're a little click happy there.
Yeah. Is this you, Jess?
Yeah, so ABC has canceled Roseanne after she tweeted a really racist thing, and I will pull up the story now.
Yeah.
So can I just say that she is really trying to backtrack and save her butt after she did this, but
So what'd
it's
she
not
say,
gonna
Jess?
work. All right, so she's attacking Valerie Jarrett, who was an Obama ally, and said Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ, referring to Valerie Jarrett. Yikes.
Yeah, and to be clear, Valerie Jarrett is black, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's what the context.
She's a former White House advisor to President Barack Obama and a longtime Obama confidant. And and she's a vocal, and of course Roseanne Barr is a vocal Trump supporter. So
before she started running for president herself.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now she's kind of backtracking and trying to say, apologizing, saying, tomorrow is Shabbat and I'm praying for everyone. And, I'm tired of being smeared over a stupid mistake after I've had 30 years of activism, I'm not a racist. I never was and never will be. It was one stupid joke in a lifetime of
Not a
fighting for
singer
civil
either, but-
rights. Yeah.
Yeah.
For all minorities against network studios at the expense of my nervous system, family wealth will never be taken from me. Blah, 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 blah,
Whoa.
blah.
Wow.
I will say it is very hard to kind of build yourself back up after something like this, right? I feel like it rarely happens. It happens with Mel Gibson. But
Yeah.
he's like one of
Yeah.
few.
The Ambien that she
Yeah.
took the
Ambien,
for,
yes.
Oh.
Ambien, like
Yeah.
their parent company tweeted out, Ambien contains a lot of side effects that you should definitely be aware of, but racism is not one of them."
Okay, so in-
Oh,
snap.
yeah. No, the
in case
Ambien
nobody
clapback.
caught that on mic, Ambien, the parent company of Ambien said there's a lot of side effects and one of them is not racism. That is hysterical.
Burn.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Oh,
that's super
man.
funny.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like what.
Pharmaceutical company is funnier than
Yeah, when you get burned by big pharma, it's time to hang up the spurs, cowboy, because your career is done.
It's been like this for years too. This isn't the first time this has happened with Roseanne.
She's cuckoo. I mean,
Yeah.
she just
Yeah.
has a.
Yeah.
And, she should have known a lot. She should have been a lot smarter because the president of ABC, who had the show Roseanne, is black.
Yep.
And a woman.
Mhm.
And so she was like, she said, Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values. And then was like, you're canceled. You're out of here. Come on. Like,
Yeah, and
she should have known so much better.
And the thing that kind of like galled me, in as much as it is, because a lot of times these are all just, in my opinion, a lot of them are political distractions.
Sure.
But it was just the fact that the amount of everybody else on board this thing that got screwed as a result of her doing this.
Yeah, and they all tweeted out afterwards too, saying,
Oh, yeah, like
we're
distancing
really,
themselves.
Yeah.
we're really sad that this is the way it is because this, like, a lot of jobs are lost, a lot of families
Yeah.
relied on this
Right.
money.
But
And-
some
and
of
how
them were
could-
like, I'm fine. Like,
Yeah.
like, don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Like,
But,
so.
but the crew and everybody else who isn't, high profile or
Yeah,
making
it's true.
scads of
Who
money.
isn't John Goodman?
They're basically in the
Yeah.
crossfire.
But
Yeah.
still,
Yeah,
how
definitely.
could you screw over John Goodman?
No.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
He'll be
Honestly, I'm a
alright.
bit
He's
surprised
one of
that
the ones
he
that'll be
took.
okay.
I get it. Roseanne was clearly a hit, but I was surprised that he actually jumped back on board.
Right.
But they
I
they wouldn't.
imagine They probably backed a truck full of money into his house.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Something along
It's
those
the
lines.
Daniel Craig treatment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like, well, I'm already dead. Well,
might as well.
Yeah.
All
of
right then.
course.
Sure.
Although my favorite meme that came out of this is they said that it should be that they should immediately spin it off into the series Dan, but only he very slowly becomes Walter Sobchak,
Oh my god. That'd be great.
and then it just turns into the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, and then the
they
dude
just
just
show that
shows. Just
every
one day, the
Friday.
dude's there. You know.
I'd be down for that.
That's a good
I'd
one.
support
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
they
do
should
it.
just do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Wanda Sykes was the first person to be like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this.
Yep,
And that's
yep.
after she actually came to the defense of, because she was a writing consult. I don't know if she was actually a writer. She
Yeah.
was a writing consultant.
Yeah.
But she had come to the defense of the show previously, saying,
Yeah.
"Well, this is time we're
Of the
looking at
premise.
the premise of the Roseanne, their family being Trump supporters,
Ah.
and they're
Right.
looking. She actually defended, said, no, we're looking at all sides of this, and not
Yeah.
just this side and that side. But then then right, ding, knife in the
And,
back.
and
Yeah,
as
no
soon
kidding.
as you try to present an even-handed view of it, then you get punched in the face.
Right,
It's just like,
yeah.
really?
I tried to help. Too bad.
Yep.
All right. So the next piece of news is a little bit happier, I think.
Yes. a lot happier.
Yes, now here's some heroism.
Yes. Tell us about it, Cheska.
Oh my gosh. All right, first off, do you want me to go throughout this article and not blame it, like not kid on his name, or do kid on his name?
Oh, that's hard to do because his
Cucumber
name is so
batch?
amazing.
I know,
Yeah.
Blunderbush Cannibal. Okay,
Yep,
I'm
I think you
done.
should do it.
All right.
Benedict Cumberbatch name
Wimbledon
generator.
Tem and Batch. All right, I'm gonna be straight about this.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch credited with saving a cyclist from attackers.
Wow.
So
Super cool.
the story goes that Uber driver Manuel Diaz was driving an Uber to a man and a woman he didn't know. So he didn't know it was him and his wife. And he got out and yelled at the attackers to leave a cyclist alone that was actually making a delivery at the time.
Okay.
So, but the driver said this all got a bit surreal. Here was Sherlock Holmes fighting 4 attackers just around the corner from Baker Street.
Nice.
So
Yes.
Oh my God.
And he had to confirm and said Mr. Diaz actually did not actually think that Sherlock Holmes was real.
Nice.
They had to make it confirmed in this article.
Just so you know.
Just so you know, he's not real.
Yeah.
So, but the driver just like, it was totally on him. It was totally on Benedict Cumberbatch. He did all the work. An was just there.
He was just the driver.
And the wife
He was the
didn't-
getaway driver. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, the article goes on and says, like, the wife didn't want to say anything. And I think she was just like, you get him, honey.
Just give him a little punch on the shoulder.
I just imagine him doing the like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes with his like intuitive way of fighting.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah,
turn
yeah.
to the left, and I drive my fist deep underneath his kidneys. You know, Just like,
That's definitely how
God.
he fights.
Yeah.
Or he fought like this.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, doing the
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah,
Little
the-
finger tutting.
Just all the hands just come out and flay around.
And then
Yeah.
David Bowie comes out and contact juggles with crystal balls, and it was just like, and everybody had a magical evening.
God damn, I would have loved to have been there for that.
That would have been
Oh
insane.
man.
Sweet. Well, that
What a
sounds like
peach.
yeah.
Actual superhero now,
Right.
So it's yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got cred.
Jeez, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Who'd have
Cumberbatch
thought?
is actually modest about it. He's like, I did it out of, well, I had to, you know?
Because that's what good heroes do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
What am I
what
gonna
good
do? Watch this
superheroes-
Where
guy
he
get
would
robbed?
They're not in it for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
If he
god.
prefaces it all with, "Now, I'm no hero," you know, then it was just like, "All right, dude, sorry, okay, I'm buying your shirt."
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
plus,
Damn,
like, I think
dude.
the cape
I
came
like
out
you
and
so
everything.
much more now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mad
everybody,
respect.
yeah.
Mad respect.
Hard not to like this guy. All right, let's go into our last article. Stanley.
Up next, so we got some news. Jamie
Some, like, camera
Foxx
switches? Yeah.
is set to play Spawn in the upcoming live-action Spawn. Also set to be Todd McFarlane's directorial debut.
Wow.
Written
Okay.
and directed. And just early reports are coming in that the movie itself is going to take a different tone from the normal superhero genre.
Yeah.
And it's going to focus more on sort of the some of the side characters. There's a PI named Twitch. There's a cop named Sam. And they're sort of investigating, almost like the Batman. They're investigating the story behind this, and then he creeps up and he's got his chains, and so I think it's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah.
It's a dark take. It's definitely rated R.
Yes.
Oh, always.
Speaking. I mentioned Michael Jai White before. This is
Right, yeah.
This was his
And then
claim to fame, I think, maybe.
I
Other than
think
football, was he a football player?
Michael J. White, yeah.
I also remember that like one of the biggest things I ever saw him in first was they did a biopic of Mike Tyson.
Right,
He was
right,
yeah, that was the first time I'd ever heard of him. Of course,
and Black
20 plus
Dynamite.
years
And
ago.
he's done,
Yeah.
and he's done. And actually, it's not.
Solid.
I know a lot of people give it crap, the original one, but the original, I think I'm gonna have to go nerd out on that one. The
Yeah.
original director's cut actually wasn't actually bad.
Oh.
Had a lot of the what was cut out was a lot of the actual hell
Yeah.
elements to the to the story, and they kind of cut that out to make it
Make it
PG.
more.
It was
Yeah.
really
But it definitely
ambitious.
wasn't PG,
Right,
right?
yeah,
It was
no,
like,
no, no.
was
Yeah,
it PG-13 or R?
I think it was PG-13.
Okay.
And then like but the original cut was actually R.
Got it,
And they
got
kind
it.
of stuck, but it just got chopped up to the producer movie gods and
Sure.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, it
so.
happens.
But yeah, so I think it's going to be an interesting take, a lot darker and a different take on a different look at the character than what we've seen, and maybe even seen in sort of these new, because he's a superhero, but he's more of an anti-hero.
Yeah,
Sure,
mystical
yes.
vigilante.
And
What?
take
What
that,
is he? He's not DC or Marvel. Is
No, he's
he?
Image Comics.
It's Image.
Image,
It's actually
yes.
McFarlane and a few others broke off
Yeah.
from Marvel.
Okay.
and
To do-
started
Create
Image.
our own.
Got it.
And
Got it.
I think Spawn was definitely the
Flagship.
big flagship, but I think they started with was like Savage Dragon.
It was because that was Eric Larson.
Yeah.
And then there was like Youngblood and Cyberforce. There were a ton of these that they did, and we will be doing this for an hour. So
Right.
anyway, I'm sorry. It was but yeah, it was as far as creator-owned stuff, because Todd McFarlane, like, he honed his art drawing like Spider-Man, because he was doing that back in the 80s.
90s,
Phenomenal artist, and and then he did his own stuff, and of course he did the HBO series, which
Right.
was hard R.
Oh,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
definitely.
Yeah. And the animated series of Spawn was gore fest. Yeah, it was
very
awesome.
graphic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I vaguely remember it. I do remember though the original movie, like the CGI just being completely outdated.
It was
I like
really
that.
Yeah,
ambitious.
it was-
It was
yeah.
really
it was at the
ambitious for what
beginning.
they were
But
trying
Yeah.
to do.
good.
What was
Right.
this? 90? Early
Yeah,
90s?
early
90s.
90s, and
Yeah.
This?
you kind of have to take that as it comes
Sure,
now.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
I don't
definitely
That's what I'm
remember
most
it.
excited
97 or
about
98, I
is
think.
is like how
I wanna
far
say
we.
even like 97.
Yeah, because
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, it was either end of high school or post high school for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm actually most
Ooh,
excited about
guys,
is to
it's
see
got
how
an
they.
18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, the original.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
it
But-
definitely gets a lot of flack.
And if you heard the soundtrack from the movie,
Yeah.
that has 100% certified fresh rating in my heart.
Right? And actually, that's one of my favorite John Leguizamo roles.
Right?
Is,
As the
yeah,
Violator?
as the Violator.
God, I
Yeah.
love him.
So
Yeah.
my question is: does Jamie Foxx fit this role for all of you?
I think
Absolutely.
so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's done dramatic roles. You
Sure,
know, he's
yeah.
done dramatic roles. He's
Collateral,
done action roles.
awesome.
I really liked
It's a
him
good-
in Collateral.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good
because he
movie.
can be a badass. Because he's been a funny guy for so long. Like he has distanced himself from goofy, in Living Color guy.
Sure.
To being just to having more. But I suspect he'd always had that. It was just the fact that they kind of shoehorned him into a lot of like the goofy shit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's good. He's really good.
He's really good.
Is that an
He's-
interesting career path, kind of like what like Will Smith was doing around
Yeah.
that time
Yeah.
too, with the like triple threat almost, like
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah.
every
With the-
Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he's got albums. And,
That Ray
Yeah.
Charles
Movies and
movie was
music and-
so good. Oh
Yeah,
my
people
God.
like that one.
And the
Which one?
The
Ray
Ray
Charles movie.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the
Yes,
Netflix
Ray.
did? Oh my
Amazing.
gosh,
Yep.
that was really good.
And then it's Baby Driver. He's
Oh,
in
that
that.
was
He
good.
plays a villain in that. It's really good because I
Okay.
don't really see him in that role, and he's
Sure.
really, really sinister and really,
Okay.
just, yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what was
So
a
he's
little
gonna be good
cheesy?
for more,
I
like-
think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
It was cheesy. His villain in the new Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah,
was
it's
a little,
Electro.
It was a little bit
Right.
cheesy. Like
Right,
I was
right.
sort of like, nah.
But yeah, that was not a.
He
Um,
chewed a bit of
Electro?
scenery. Huh? I'm sorry.
He played Electro. Is
Yeah,
that-
he was
Yeah,
Electro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't end up watching
Yeah.
it, but
I don't know.
And I heard a lot of his actual like scenes got cut or got
Aw, that
chopped
sucks.
up.
Yeah,
so
they
it's just-
did.
Yeah. So maybe they just put in the bad
just kinda-
parts.
yeah.
Well,
In his
you can
defense.
be good. Sometimes you'll be an ill fit for the role. You
sure.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We've done a lot of good things
Yeah.
that potentially that outweigh his bad roles. So.
Indeed.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our next segment called Coming Soon. Now with Post Tomatoes, which always comes before.
Pre-tomatoes!
Sweet, you'll catch
We
on,
did
Cheska.
it. It was like a choir.
So 2 weeks ago, you guys talked about Ibiza, Picnic at Hanging Rock, and Solo, and now it has been 2 weeks since all these
Wow.
things came out, or at least a week and a half.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And so let's start with Ibiza. Your guess, at least the last cruise guess, was 75. This was a Netflix original, I believe.
Yes.
About three girls like on like a vacation,
It's
kind of sounded like The
it's
Hangover.
almost like a
A lot
road
of
movie.
drug
Yeah,
fueled,
like
yeah.
a like
Okay.
a raunchy like comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has
It
what's
looked
her
like a lot
name?
of fun.
Jillian.
Yeah, Gillian Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Yes,
I really want to see it.
she's
'cause of her.
amazing. I love
It-
Gillian Jacobs.
Yeah, because when we looked at it just on our own,
Yeah.
looking at the trailer, it looked like it was actually a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
and
She's
it's
wearing a unicorn.
Onesie. Yep.
it scored a little bit
That needs
below
to be
what
in
you
my
guys
life.
put, which was it scored a 68,
Right.
which is still, I think, a watchable score.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
At least
I
by
mean,
Rotten
comedy.
Tomatoes.
Well, I think, and
Sure.
too, if you know what you're getting into, I'm sure that's fine.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
If you're going in and you're looking for a
Yeah,
good time,
something fun
yeah.
and,
Sure.
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 Okay, the other one was Picnic at Hanging Rock, the remake that is now on Amazon. The original one was, what, 60s or something?
70s, yeah. I
70s?
think it was
Okay.
Yeah, it was a
75, I
ways
think.
back.
Ways back.
Nobody remembered anything about it.
No, that was the entire thing. Is that like we were trying to find info about it, and it
was
really was.
Yeah.
We were. I think we spent more time discussing just what the poster looked like.
Yeah,
than-
Sure. you know.
Yeah, it's a
what we
cool.
actually-
I remember you guys saying
And I
fractal.
really like that
Yeah,
actress. I mean, she's
She
from
was
Game of
good,
Thrones.
but-
She's pretty good generally.
It's the funny the
sucks.
score we gave it and the score we were talking about was like closer to the score we
Yeah, we actually
that
like
actually
tried to be
got.
optimistic
And we were
about
like,
it.
well,
You thought it would be more at a 35, which is what it actually got, but
Oh,
you
boy.
guessed
We-
76.
we were trying to be,
I was wrong.
optimistic.
Yeah, I would definitely like to. I wanted to skew a little higher on
Sure.
that one. And
Yeah, it was a
I
tough sell. It's
wrong.
is it based in like Victorian times?
The actual like case it's based on is like Victorian.
Okay, so
times
it's a
in
real
Australia.
case that
Yeah.
happened in Australia.
Yeah.
during Victorian times. Somebody dies, and they're trying to figure out who.
The story's interesting, but like I said, you couldn't glean anything from the
trailer.
trailer
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I kind of liked the trailer from what I saw, but I don't remember it that well. So that might be
right.
saying
That was our
something.
problem. It
Okay.
was just very
Not memorable.
unmemorable.
Sure.
Yeah.
And lastly, we were going to talk about this a
Wow, you
little
guys
bit
were
later.
close
We're
on
going to
that.
Yeah.
get into the
I-
nitty gritty of Solo, but the guess was 71, and it came out to 73.
Well, that was
I'd
pretty
seen
spot
other
on,
places
yeah.
that they said it was at a 71, so I felt pretty good about our guess
okay.
on that one.
Yeah,
but
that's
you know, what?
really good.
Yeah, no, we came pretty close to the bullseye on that one.
Wow.
But we all kind of knew what we were getting into on that one as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and the Rotten Tomatoes critical consensus says, I remember the last sentence is, if you leave your preconceptions at the door, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a lot of the. I mean, it's Star Wars. There's so much behind it.
Yeah.
That it's hard to get away from that. And so
Yeah.
again, we'll get into it later on.
I walked
You-
in
you're-
sort of having zero expectations, but I think we can get into that later.
Yes.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Cheska?
I also had some expectations. I had a lot of little expectations of that.
What
so-
would your score be if you could give it a score? Because I know you were like not as fond.
Yeah,
of
that's
it
actually a good question.
See,
Others.
all eyes are on me. All the judging eyes are on me.
That's what this
I haven't
is.
You
seen
know
it
what?
yet.
It's a
So
Below
show.
50, above 50,
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good way to gauge it.
Above 50.
but
Okay.
not
So
much. huh?
Slightly.
Not that much.
Nah,
Like
Fair.
60?
fair dues.
Little bit like I would actually agree a little bit saying it's 70, 71.
Okay. Just an
Okay.
average
I
see.
agree.
Fair enough.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
See,
I give it-
I can make some.
Wow.
You can be
I'm
nice.
surprised.
I can be nice.
I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised.
I would give it a little bit higher personally,
Yeah.
but well,
I would
again,
give it like
Oh.
a 75.
this is all
Solid 75 for me.
so
Mhm.
above what
Yeah.
it gave. All right, let's jump into our next segment, coming soon now with Pre-Tomatoes, which always comes after.
Post tomatoes.
Very cool.
Sorry, I messed up.
All right, I am very excited for this week's films
Oh
and
yeah.
television.
Yeah. Feeling good.
First and foremost,
So
Hereditary. This
many.
movie has been getting so much hype.
Yeah.
I think it debuted at SXSW. Is that
Yeah.
right? If it didn't debut, at least the trailer was there.
Right.
And just like every other horror film that comes out, scariest movie of all time. But truly, though, I feel like this seems to actually be kind of holding some weight.
Yeah, I had because I saw the first trailer where they were like, yeah, people are kind of shitting their pants over the new Hereditary trailer,
Yes.
like back in February or thereabouts.
Right.
And I made the mistake of just watching it in my vehicle, just holding it in the dark and just hearing that strain of those stretched strings and shit, and
Yes.
it was cool.
A couple stories behind this. The directors, I think it's their debut film. They've never made a film before.
Wow.
And another one is that the trailer got played. I think this was in Australia or somewhere on the East Coast. I can't remember, but it wasn't around here. The trailer got played before a Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was they were traumatized.
So
yeah.
all the parents were livid, and they ran out of the theater with their kids in arms, crying and saying,
They're
like,
gonna
"How
be
could you do
afraid
this?"
of developmentally delayed people forever. It
Yeah,
will
yeah.
ruin
I mean,
them.
I don't know if
I
this.
can understand that because most of the theaters they're trained to have similar movies, so
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
So it's child's film. Oh wait,
Dark
this
darkest
child.
horror.
Okay, so this has a child. Oh, it has dolls. Oh no.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Timmy's
That's
crying.
why they mixed up the tag
Yeah.
words.
It's like,
Yeah.
hello. It's like people took their kids to see the first Deadpool, and it's like, it's rated R.
Yeah.
Do you not check the ratings when
But
you
it's
take
a
your
comic
kids to
book.
movies?
They're not
Movie.
going to make it out
No,
of the
there you go.
credit sequence.
No.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a children's movie. Check the ratings.
You can be surprised how many people disobey
didn't
that
even notice.
entirely.
Blindly.
Working from box office, they don't care.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, your child's a baby, an infant? Let's bring him right in.
Scary movies, all the better.
Uh,
to sleep.
I will be watching this.
At Sausage
Yeah.
Party.
What?
Oh,
Yep.
no, 3-year-olds at sausage party sounds
Oh,
awful.
God.
R.
Albuquerque, you disappoint me so much. Anyway.
Full of disappointments. But Thursday night at 7 p.m., I will be at the theaters for this. There's
Oh,
no way
heck
I'm missing
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Hotel Artemis is the next one.
Oh, yeah.
This one kind of looks like the John Wick hotel, but just the hotel
Yeah,
part.
the Continental. Because we
Yeah.
talked. Yeah, because
Yes.
when we did the trailer reaction for this one got my attention.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Is that Sterling
It
K.
is Sterling
Brown,
K.
the
Brown,
love of my
yes.
life? I will watch.
Oh,
For
I want
you,
to go with the
Sterling.
group
I
to
hope
see
you're
this
watching.
one.
So do I.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I have a
definitely.
feeling it's gonna be a really good time in the theater.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like a lot of fun.
This is another one where we need to do the screen source at the movies.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Please.
Screen source at the movie.
easily.
Yes.
Easily.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cheska, you want to introduce that last one?
Oh, Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a sequel to Ocean's 13. Is that
It's-
right?
It's kind of like a knockoff to it.
Okay.
Because you have like Ocean's 11, 12, and 13. This is apparently supposed to be Danny Ocean's sister.
Okay.
So, and her.
So it's a spin-off more than it is a
yeah,
sequel.
it's a spin-off more
Okay.
than that. So she gets her girl gang and
Right.
goes to it.
Yeah.
Right
The
on.
most
Girl
kind of
gang.
the weirdest
Girl
part.
gang.
For,
Gang. Sorry, I'm excited.
the weirdest part for me
Never
is their
happens.
casting of Rihanna, which I think is more of like the idea of like kind of filling seats because she's
I'm
so
here
big.
for it.
But
Bad
she-
gal
she's not
Riri.
bad.
I'm all about you.
what else has she been in?
I
She was in
saw
Battleship, which sucked. But
That movie was
Valerian.
awful.
you know what? I
Not-
think
not that,
was
but
one
the Battleship was
yeah,
awful.
Oh, yeah,
Battleship
yeah,
was
yeah,
shit.
definitely.
Yeah, 2012, I think. Yeah, it was like I think it got the Razzie.
One
for
of the
worst
few
movie that
movies
year.
I almost walked
She's
out on.
killing it, Rihanna. She's doing like makeup that has like shades for like every skin tone,
Nice.
Nice.
which is never happens. And then she's making lingerie line that has plus size, which also never happens.
Yep.
So
Right on.
good on
Cool.
you,
Yep.
Rihanna.
Cool. No, that's-
Good on
that's
you.
good.
Woman.
And she's in Lemon.
Yeah,
For
the
new
Pharrell
Pharrell
song,
single,
which is really,
it's so
really
good.
good.
NERD
Yeah.
actually, but
So
anyways.
what was the thing about Valerian you were
Yeah.
about to say there?
Oh no, she actually did really good. But she She wasn't just. The only other thing I'd seen her in was This Is the End? She basically
Oh, okay.
plays
All right.
herself.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and then she
Oh.
like and then so in this one she's like an alien character.
Yeah,
and,
like a
like,
shapeshifter.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, and she was really good. I was like, all right, go Rihanna.
Okay.
She was like, yeah, she
Nice.
she like had the chops. I was like, all right.
Sure, another
Was
one of
that
those.
movie like decent?
I
was
liked it.
okay?
I'm a big sci-fi head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will.
It was based off of a comic book,
It
right?
was an old comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was one of those where like there was a certain like it didn't play well to larger audiences, but there was a certain group of purists who actually really liked it.
Okay.
And it was mixed reviews in my
The-
family.
And one of the problems with that is because it was so old. A lot of sci-fi that we're used to like borrowed from it.
Okay.
And then so now like we're like, oh well, I've seen that. We're like, well, you didn't see that back
Yeah,
when
this
it was
is the
you know,
original
this is where
trope.
It was like 50s
It's-
comics,
further back, I
60s.
think,
it's
Really?
something like
Jeez.
that. I
Yeah,
can't,
I
I
remember-
can't
like
remember
some
the
John
origin.
Carter of Mars.
It was
shit.
like, well, it's
Yeah.
kind of the same
Wow.
thing where John Carter was. Everyone has taken so much from John Carter that when
Sure.
you actually see it,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
shits
yeah.
on it. Yeah.
I think but I think I think all the actors were good, and
Okay.
you know,
I mean,
it was a good story.
The lineup for Ocean's 8 is pretty awesome, pretty phenomenal.
Definitely,
They,
definitely.
they look
Yeah.
like they bounce off each other really well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it looks like a fun cast to be.
Yeah.
here.
So
Late
fun.
1960s was
Late
go.
1960s.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
There we go.
Cool.
69
Anyway.
through 72.
Right.
That is
Nice.
old.
But yeah, no,
Holy moly.
I'm down for the. Do we know if it's a prequel or is it?
It just looks like a.
It's in the. Is it? In
Yeah,
the, it's in the
like
same-
where-
It
where in
looks
the
like in
timeline?
same universe, and I hope that they don't experiment with like the camera like they did in 12 and 13. Oh,
Yeah, you
no.
weren't a fan of the camera work. I remember
I
you talking
was not
about
a
that.
fan of the camera work or the palettes or anything.
And we were discussing like because we talked about Ocean's 12 before with Julia Roberts playing Julia
Julia
Roberts
Roberts.
as
Right,
well
right,
as her
right.
own character.
you
who
look
they-
like that actress. Maybe.
It's like, really? Come on now. That would never happen.
But yeah, no, all female heist flick sounds like a winner.
Yeah, it does sound
Yeah.
like a
Sounds
winner.
like a lot of
We
fun.
don't
yeah.
have any, I don't think.
Also,
Not that
a
I can
great
think of.
tribute to John Mulaney, who did a joke about this exact thing.
Did he? Oh,
Yes.
that's
You
awesome.
never do like Ocean's 11 with women because two would just keep breaking off to talk shit about the other.
Oh my gosh, that's
wow.
amazing. This is a reaction to that
This
joke.
film was
If they
there
do
to
that just
spite him.
once,
Yeah.
then it was yeah.
Despite John
So
Mulaney. Anyways,
exciting.
we need to assign scores to these. So what are your Rotten Tomato
Ooh,
picks?
I'm
Let's
feeling
start with
good about
Hereditary. I'll start it off. Hereditary, I think, will end up in the 90s.
90.
Just because
I
of
I'll
agree.
give
the,
that. I'll give
yeah,
you that.
what people have been
Just
saying.
the height,
91.
I would say 93.
Okay.
93. What are you guys at?
I said 91, but yeah.
95.
95.
Okay, we can do 95.
I like 93.
93. Let's meet in the middle. 94. I'll break it off.
94.
All right. 94. So tomatoed. Hotel Artemis.
Oh.
Damn it.
88.
This one's hard to read.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's
A little
very
bit.
hard.
I haven't heard anything from the critics yet.
No, it like everything in the style of it looks like something that speaks to me, but I don't think it's going to be for everybody, and I'm
Sure.
going to say 85.
Will it speak to critics is the question.
Here's
Okay.
hoping.
Yeah, that's
Here's
true.
hoping.
Yeah.
I'm going to go high 70s. I don't think it'll I mean, I keep comparing to John Wick. I'm sure it's very different just because
Right.
John Wick
I
is
don't
strictly
know
an
that
action
John
film.
Wick did very well critically.
I
even
thought
though
maybe it did,
was
but anyways, I'm going to go
awesome.
high 70s. 77.
I'm just wondering who carries it more, Jodie Foster or the rest of the cast.
Holy
That's-
shit,
Batista.
John
It
Wick
could-
did really
yeah,
well.
it could be
Or-
mostly just a like a complete ensemble as opposed to.
That's
Or-
good.
yeah, it
Because the
seems more
casting
like
is
it's
like
Charlie
really
Day.
good.
And
Oh,
a
man,
very
yeah.
scary looking Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who looks like
I
a
never-
badass in that.
And
The
it's hard
second-
to make Jeff Goldblum a badass because he's
Yeah,
just so
absolutely.
goofy.
He's
Yeah.
lovable. He's so lovable.
Yeah.
What are you
He's-
guys thinking?
And he's old and he looks good. Oh
Yeah,
my
he's
God.
always
Right?
Jeez,
He looks
man.
just like the
He's like
picture.
the coolest dad.
He's ageless. That guy is ageless. You know what? Why don't we meet in the middle and do like a solid 80 or like a 79?
I'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
on board.
All right,
80?
80,
I would
80.
say, yeah.
So
80.
tomato. Wait. Let me write these down because I'm always having to go back and rewatch these. movies. Hereditary was what?
We gave a
Hereditary
94.
was 94.
Yeah,
94.
94 for Hereditary.
Hotel
80 for-
Artemis is 83. Is that right?
80.
80.
yeah.
80.
Just a solid 80.
Cool. And
Ocean's
Ocean's 8.
8.
Where we at?
God.
Okay, so it could be
Could be a
because-
flop. Could be really
so
good.
High 70s, low 80s. That's where I'm.
Okay. Let's
It
do
sounds
like
safe,
70,
but it sounds right.
Yeah.
79 or 78. 78.
Yeah, you know what? I feel good with 78.
78.
That
Okay.
sounds good.
Cool.
78.
You guys have convinced me.
Okay.
Or your girls rather.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We
That's
want to
right.
watch this.
It's girls' time. All right, cool.
We
The rest
want
of
it
the
to be good.
movies or television shows that are coming out that we
Really?
will not be giving scores to, but are definitely worth talking about. First is the new YouTube Red original called Impulse.
It looks really interesting.
The trailers are interesting. It's about a person. I think she kind of gets in some sort of accident and then she develops superpowers. One of them is like transportation. I think she can travel through time maybe. I'm not
And
sure.
Telekinesis.
Teleportation. Yeah, transportation.
And transportation and goodbye.
Yeah, she could
Uber
ride
at
it. She
whim
could
with
ride
her
a bike.
mind.
She could call an Uber. She
Her
could be all-
bureaucracy was just off the charts.
Nice.
instant transportation. Yeah, she's great. Yes, teleportation. Thank you, Jess.
And we saw the trailer. For
We
this
did
one
watch
as
the
well.
trailer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we like this one.
Yeah, it
Just
was
'cause of the-
interesting
Yeah,
looking.
because dude was trying to get a little, try to make things go far on her, and she put him in a coma or some shit.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't.
no,
Yeah.
Yes.
It was because
He was
she
like, it was getting rapey, and then she like
Took
she
care of
fucked
business.
him
messed
up.
him up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was like, he deserved that.
Yeah.
So that's Impulse. Marvel's Cloak and Dagger.
I did not know anything about this. I
Yeah.
love the series, but yeah. Holy
series
shit.
premiere. It's on Freeform, I believe, which is, if I'm not mistaken, owned by NBC.
Okay.
And it's they're kind of like another channel that they made. I watch one or two originals from Freeform. I
Yeah.
don't know how this is going to be. It looks to the production level of the Hulu original.
Okay, all right.
What's that one called? The Hulu Marvel
Was it the Runaways?
No.
Runaways.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. I'm
It
on
looks
board.
like that kind of.
So it's gonna be like child friendly, or is it just gonna be like?
Well,
What is which one is Cloak and Dagger? I'm not.
okay, Cloak and Dagger was the story of two homeless people who were experimented upon, and they were both drug addicts. So it's like hard street
Okay.
level aesthetic. Like I don't remember Cloak's name, but Dagger, for some reason, I remember that her real name was Tandy Bowen. And like Cloak had like this cloak that opened up into the dark force dimension. He'd suck people in. He
Whoa.
would just fuck their
Wow.
brains up and he'd
Ooh.
toss them back out. You know, like it was bad shit. Like for about 5
So they-
seconds in Infinity War, he pulls Thanos with the gauntlet into himself and holds him.
Whoa.
Like
Wow.
it's
So when you say into himself, into his coat, his
like
trench.
he opens this thing up and he turns into like this vacuumy black portal.
So he turns into a black hole. He gives them a traumatic brain injury and then vomits them out.
Well, he gives them like some deep trauma and spits them back out. Dagger has the ability to. She has like these. She throws daggers made of light. Weird side effect of it. Can purge addicts of their addictions.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
That's a
you're
cool
also
side effect.
basically
So-
it's a
I thought
healing
you-
shiv because
So-
you're stabbing somebody and making them better.
I thought you were just gonna say the side effect is purging. I was like, oh, okay. She's like,
She's just like
Oh, the
projectile
heroin.
vomit everywhere. Projectile vomit.
what were you gonna
girl.
say, Jessica?
Come here for the rehab shift.
Right? Yeah. And it's
Rehab shit.
It's like that rehab song makes so much more sense
Oh
now.
my god.
yeah, because that's what they wanted to do. Just stab the shit out of it.
Was this a comic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this was definitely one of those grittier '80s comics.
Okay,
Because again,
80s, okay.
yeah, for like street people, drug addiction, all sorts of fucked up business going on with that, and just them, on the run from I'm sure with this one that'll fit in rather nicely.
Sure.
Running from like the shadowy pharmaceutical corporation that like did whatever they did to them and wants to harvest whatever their powers are.
Sure. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
That
can't
looks
say
awesome.
obviously that might not be it at all. I could be totally wrong,
Yeah,
but it was
maybe
cool.
it sounds like X-Men a little bit in that way.
Right.
Very much
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
looks
There's
cool, though.
one thing about this, kind of the way you're talking about, and also other Marvel shows, especially the Netflix originals. They're all very dark, I've noticed, aesthetically, relative to the films that are mostly this brighter and colorful side of the Marvel universe. So I always noticed that contrast. There's obviously even contrast in this poster, but
Sure.
I will take the unpopular side of saying that that honestly kind of steers me away from it a little bit, almost
Yeah.
in the same way that the DC universe does, although DC
Right.
universe just can't write a
Oh,
movie.
man.
Well, who's
Yeah.
producing this and what's this going to be on?
Freeform, I believe, is the name of
Okay.
the. I
don't
can
know
double
who's
check, but I'm pretty sure it's
producing
on Freeform, which isn't. It's actually been around for years. I just don't think it's like super popular yet. And my
Yeah.
guess is that picking up a Marvel show is gonna bring it more to the limelight.
See, that's
Sure.
why I'm kind of like turning away from it a little bit because I'm like, I'm used to Netflix. I'm used to Daredevil
Sure.
and like
Right.
not
It's
Luke
not-
Cage.
It's not a subscription service though. I don't think it's it's another like it's on cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well, I'm not gonna see it. I kind of.
I don't know.
I'm just
I can't do.
I'm just
cable.
kind of apprehensive over the fact that the A in dagger makes the silhouette look a little butt pluggy.
Yeah.
A in cloak, you can see that it looks like what he does. Dagger, on the other hand, getting
Yeah.
a little closer on that one, and
Yeah,
and
I don't
it's
know.
all regret.
Graphic arts
Wow.
is my passion.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on. I'll wait and see.
Has
what their
anybody seen the
reviews are.
trailer?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm
Maybe-
familiar with the concept, and it was like they've hewed so closely to the source material on most of the other ones. I'm looking at you, Iron Fist. But yeah, but like with the other stuff, it was like Cloak and Dagger would easily be something that was slot right into the Defenders.
Okay.
You know?
Nice.
Dope.
Yeah.
All right. And lastly, won't you be my neighbor?
I'm gonna
Yes.
cry
The
I believe-
fucking
eyes
wholesome
out.
memes are
Oh,
real.
man.
I think we watched the trailer
Yeah.
for this one, and it looked very good.
I cried during
I'm-
the trailer
I'm
multiple
gonna- yeah.
times.
Yeah.
it's
I
a
got
it's a documentary.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes.
I
About
got the icy prickles in my chest
Yeah.
that
Yep.
proceed, glassing up, and it was just
I'm
like,
just gonna start crying as soon as it starts, and
Yep.
I'll finish when
I'm
it's
just
done.
gonna cry
I'll
my
just-
way through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just found out that our
Right.
producer, one of our producers, Janae Pinnell, she said that her father's worked at PBS, I think, for like years and years and years. He actually just retired, and she said that she found out that he's actually held her.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr.
held
Rogers
her.
has held her
As a
as
baby.
Yeah, and so she was very.
Nice.
stoked
She's been
about it.
It's like, hopefully
blessed
she
by
w-
him.
I know.
It was like
Christened
if
by
she,
him.
yeah, she was infused with a little bit of
Yes,
his
yes,
goodness to take with her for the rest of her life.
Right on,
That's
right on.
good.
She always wears a red cardigan now. Yeah.
I do have a lot of Mr. Rogers sweaters, and I'm very proud of it.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
on.
So
Yeah, no, just stands in testament as one of the finest examples of humanity.
Oh my
He would
God.
be
There
the
we
one
go.
who would save us from the aliens who have come to judge us,
God,
basically.
Yes.
pretty
definitely
much.
he would.
So yeah, I will probably give Won't You Be My Neighbor a call. Cloak and Dagger might give it a shot. Impulse, give me a reason to have paid for my $10 a month to YouTube.
Yep.
Aside from the fact that I don't have to watch ads like the rest of you chumps. Ad block. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Anyways, let's see. What else is coming up next? So the review section of our show. What are you watching? It looks a little bit different. We don't have like individual slides for everybody.
I like this.
I chose some fucking awesome artwork.
Yeah,
that
no, that's
really
nice.
nice.
I can't find the originator of this artwork, but I found it
That
online,
looks
and
amazing.
I love it. I want it as a poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
God, we need to get that in here.
But anyways, this segment is what have you guys been watching this week? So pick a movie or a TV show that
I
you've
have
been
something
watching.
in mind already, but
Let's
I'll
do
wait.
Solo and Deadpool last.
Okay.
Okay.
Just because I know how long that's gonna go.
Yeah.
But otherwise, who wants to start off? You want to start us off?
Yeah, actually, I caught it just dropped on Blu-ray or on home release. It was Annihilation.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's based on a book, but apparently the book itself or the book
trilogy,
in the
I
movie,
think, right?
I think so. Yeah, but I think the book and the movie are pretty tangent. Like even the filmmakers are like, well, we kind of use it as a source, inspiration,
Took some
source
liberties.
material, and kind of made our own story up. I thought it was great. It was very smart for one thing, and I was kind of like wondering why, because it kind of got dropped. It kind of just came and went, and
Sure.
I was like, well, I don't know, and I had to check it out, and yeah, it's from beginning to end. It's just there's information, and it's all, and it's not one of those ones where it's like, it's all heady, and they're like, they're actually dealing with like real world stuff, even though it's about a meteor that hits the earth and it starts to change. It starts changing like the atmosphere and everything, and like and
What's
the
it called?
different-
The glow, the glitter,
the glimmer,
the
Or
glimmer,
the shimmer.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
the glitter.
And then- yeah, right. Yeah, and so it's growing, and they've been sending teams into the shimmer, and they have not been returning, and all the while it's growing. So now we come to Natalie Portman's character, and her husband actually was in one of the last teams to go in,
And
so
one of
they
the
bring-
only person to come out.
he makes it out, and there's a big government conspiracy sort of thing, and then she gets kind of sucked in because there's something wrong with him now.
Sure.
They don't know. So then she's set, and I believe she's a microbiologist or
That sounds right,
something
yeah.
along those lines.
Yeah.
So a scientist. So that she's very helpful, and then she was a soldier on top of that.
Yeah.
So very helpful.
just
So
awesome.
and it's about the teams. This last team goes in and they start to unravel like all these different mysteries, and it was really really smart, and
Yes.
it was edgy. It was really atmospheric, creepy. And,
Yes.
I had all the good elements of a movie, and I really enjoyed it.
Jessica and I did a review here on Colors or on Screen Source for this. Very metaphorical and metaphysical.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I had a bit of a not as much of a bright take on it. I thought it was like, okay, it was decent. Like I would watch it again, but I thought there were a lot of problems. But yeah, watch the review.
Yeah. Watch
There
the
we go.
video.
You'll see what the
Okay.
problems were.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm totally on board. I completely agree. I thought it was really smart and fun, and if you want to watch some very decent sci-fi,
Definitely, yeah,
that's
yeah,
the place
hard
to go.
sci-fi.
Yes,
definitely.
hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
But
All right.
but they keep it grounded and they keep you invested if you're not a huge sci-fi fan because it's about the relationships.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very human. It's a very human side
Not
to the
enough
story.
character development, though, in my opinion.
That one I kind of disagree.
I disagree with you.
I disagree
Yes.
with that one. It's just the ending that
Right.
that I have issue with.
Okay.
So when you said smart, it leans a little bit towards me for pretentious a little bit.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why.
No, I can. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I
Anyways.
thought Natalie Portman was a little bit dry, which I normally think she's wonderful. She can be dry in general as an actress, but I do love her.
Here we go.
Anyway,
Jessica, what'd you watch? Oh wait, which one are you choosing again?
Let's see. Well, if we're going to do Solo at the end.
So then you'll go
Okay.
last.
Yes.
Yes. And then you choosing
I have
Deadpool, right?
one.
No, I'm
Oh,
not going to do
are you
Harry
choosing
Potter.
something different?
Yeah. I'm not
Okay.
doing Solo or Deadpool.
You go
Mine
first, and then I'll go
is
last.
Bridge of Terabithia.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been watching a lot of things. Honestly, I've been wanting to talk about I've been wanting to talk about Lost in Space forever, but Madison hasn't come back because I want to talk to her about it. She didn't like it as much as I did. Anyways, watch that Netflix original. I watched Bridge of Terabithia, which I had never seen, and it was always like, for me, it was kind of like always under the radar. It's a Disney film, a live action film, based off of an old book, right, from the 60s or 70s, children's book, and I can't believe I haven't watched it. I watched it kind of funny. Like I come home during my lunch breaks. I only live like 10 minutes from work.
Yeah.
And so I cook some food at home and then I watch a little something. Usually I watch a TV show, but I was, let's watch a movie. So I watched this movie in like 3 or 4 parts, which was actually kind of okay because of the way the movie's built.
Right.
And the last, I won't go into can I go into spoilers? It's old now. It's
yeah.
so old.
No, I know. Yeah.
Statute
of Limitations. Yeah, Annihilation's like on the cusp, but
It's-
Bridge of
right,
Terabithia, I don't even know when it came out. 2010 maybe. It looks like that
Something
kind of.
like that.
It looks
no,
like
actually,
that.
no. I want to
Earlier?
I went even before then.
Or,
Oh,
okay,
really?
yeah, maybe
Okay.
06.
Well,
Alexa, when did Bridge to Terabithia come out?
Ooh.
Okay, the book is 1977. That didn't help me answer. The movie is. Yeah, she was going to the original source. OP. 2007 though was the movie.
Right.
Yes,
Oh,
and it
Okay.
Alexa will remember that.
right.
it does feel like that just because of like the way the CGI is and stuff. But my favorite part is that they didn't really focus on that, and I was kind of worried that that's what this movie was going to be, and I did not know at all that this was basically kind of like oh my god, why is it leaving my head now? The one where the My Girl kind of felt like My Girl.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, where one of the kids dies and the other one stays alive, and
No.
Weird that they killed her like off screen too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, and then very suddenly, because like it was weird and jarring, but at the same time, I'd always been a like for years now, I've been a fan of Anna Sophia Robb.
Okay.
Just because it was like she like from Willy Wonka, like she was in Willy, or I guess Charlie in the Chocolate
yeah,
Factory in this
the redone.
iteration. And she was always seemed super talented to
she
me.
was great.
Yeah,
in
and
this
then
film.
in this, she was
Yeah.
fantastic.
So was the guy she was playing opposite. I forget his name.
He's in the Hunger Games.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. He also plays opposite the main female lead in that one.
Yeah, it's an early,
He plays
early
PETA.
role.
PETA. Yeah. That's what
It's
we'll
one
just
of his,
refer
one
to
of his
him.
early
go.
roles. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very young. He did a very good job, as did Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah. She popped up in there.
Yeah, and I show back up at work just like with my eyes just puffed because it was such a good cry. You watch this kid go through the stages of depression, and they did it very, very, very well. It was very quick, the kind of that last act. But you almost needed all this build up to get to there. You see his relationship with bullies and his father, and just such a good movie. Anyways, watch Bridge to Terabithia.
That one, I think that one too slipped through the cracks.
It
I think
did.
It
came
really
out,
did.
It came out in a time when everyone was trying to be the new Harry Potter.
Ah.
So they were finding all the source materials that would. So, and I think I remember like some of the ad campaigns for it were more just focused on like the fantastic element not
That's not really
and
what
that's
it's
not
about.
what the movie, what the book or the movie is
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
A lot more
so-
allegory.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Very good though. Anyways, what are you watching, Jess?
So I watched the first couple episodes of Black Lightning,
Oh,
which is on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, the DC original on.
Yeah.
It's not a Netflix original though, is it?
I'll
I'll look
do
it
not
up.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I loved it. I'm gonna keep watching.
Because they renewed it for a third season, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
It got like a really good score on Rotten Tomatoes.
It was at 100% at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 97 still.
It's good. The main guy, Cress. His name is Cress Williams. What a cool name.
That's really
He's badass. And there's like a same-sex couple in there that I was like not expecting, and I was like, ooh, I like this. You guys are branching out here. It was really good. I compared it in my mind to Luke Cage a lot, and it did feel like that a lot. With some different elements in there.
It felt a little poppier though, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
it
that I
felt
mean
a little
like
more.
not as dark.
Yeah, it felt a little more upbeat, a little more light.
But also, it's because it was on.
the CW.
Yeah, I think that's just
Oh.
just
Okay.
how they
Okay.
produce things are a little bit lighter.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that, but I do like it a lot. I am finding out, which I probably shouldn't have found this out ahead of time, but the two daughters are like have superpowers too, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, I recommend it. It's definitely really good. It's on Netflix.
Black Lightning.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, which one are we doing? Deadpool 2 or Solo?
Solo.
Which one came out first?
Deadpool 2
Deadpool
did.
2.
Let's do that one
Yeah.
first then.
Yes.
All right.
Cool.
So about 2 days before the previous screen source that we did, I had the pleasure of watching Deadpool, and it was Deadpool 2, and it was really neat to see that it got like exactly 2 more points on Rotten Tomatoes than the original
We're
one
getting
did.
good at this.
Yeah,
Right.
and the original one was crazy. This one, I was not expecting to roll a tear watching a Deadpool movie. You know, like
Yeah.
that's what I will say, because a lot of it is a love story, you know,
Yeah.
that goes deeper into everything. And it's a story of love, and it's a story of loss, and it's a story of redemption, and also at the same time, senseless slaughter. You know, it was just like, yeah, and then
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and it was just like the thing. It was like I had an inkling of a character that they were going to bring out, like that just I was like, okay, this would make perfect sense. I'm not certain that was going to happen, and then it was like, yeah, nope, called it, you know.
Yeah.
And
So we're not doing spoilers here. Is that right? We can if you want, but we just have to be honest about it.
I'm the loser. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
Okay.
Okay, let's not do
all right.
spoilers.
Well,
yeah.
let's without that,
Non-spoilery
it was
review.
just the most unexpected little phrase from the first words out of this character's mouth, where I'm going to tear you in half now, and it was like, oh shit.
That scene was gnarly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, Ryan Reynolds also played him. Isn't that cool? He said it to
Okay.
himself.
I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Okay, yeah, there were so many cool things about it. It was a ride. That
Yes.
entire movie was a ride. I was laughing hysterically, and I really enjoyed how deftly they manipulated my emotions with this movie, because it was as much fun as you were hoping it was going to be. It was also very, like, there was a lot of tragedy in it as well, you know, and then there was so much laugh out loud comedy the entire time.
Right.
That everything with it, including the way that the character that we're not going to discuss gets dealt with at the end.
Yeah.
I, especially like when shit's still going on, when everything is done, it was like, oh man.
Yes.
And
but then you remember that scene where he. It's hard to
yeah. Well,
This is going.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was also cool just to see what Cable's motivations were in this, just because obviously, because he's a character, you know, who's a time traveler, there's a bit of time travel shenanigans, including a lot of the tying up of loose ends at the very end of everything. And it was
Well, now that he has the time stone, I mean,
Yeah.
he can travel anywhere. Little
fake
Ford joke.
spoilers. But otherwise it was like we can't really get too much into
Sure,
it. But
right.
holy shit, it was just like, especially the assembly of the team. You know, of
my
X-Force, and
God.
didn't expect
This
things to
movie
go the way
is
they did.
cameo heavy.
Yeah.
So cameo heavy. My favorite cameo
Was it in the Academy?
was in the Academy.
That it
oh
was-
my god.
Yeah.
Can we spoil that? Because that's not really.
It's not really a spoiler.
It's not really going to
No,
give
no,
anything
no.
away. There's
Yeah.
okay, because there's a moment where he ends up at the X Mansion, and they're all kind of like going over things and really kind of just deconstructing the tropes of the X-Men movies
Yes, yeah.
while they're talking, and like they're in the middle of things, and open a door, and the entire cast of the X-Men movies are in there, and
In
they're
one
all like-
room.
all of them, they're there, and they all kind of turn and look at them, and it was like, oh, and close the door, and that's it.
It's like maybe
Oh.
2 seconds long.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's just like when you see like
but-
what's his name? Damn it. Who plays Professor Xavier?
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, James
James
McAvoy.
McAvoy,
Just like as Charles Xavier, kind of doing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just like no.
But and if
We don't
you
wanna
think
deal
that
with him.
if you think that's a good cameo, there's still so many other good cameos.
Yeah, because
The one
it's
I'm
like they
thinking of
bring
is,
in like almost full
Telephone
scenes
Wire.
from other movies, and it was
Oh,
just
okay.
like
Oh, that.
and yeah, there was way too much to unpack in
Yeah.
it with unless you actually get to see this
Sure.
for yourself. Please
AAA
do.
actors.
It is, it is such an absolute treat, and we'll like in a couple months or something.
Yeah,
you know, we
can
can
talk about
actually
it. It's
go
more
off
spoilery.
on.
I
on
will
what
say, of the few negatives for this film, I wasn't a huge fan of the cold open. Because I thought it was kind of weird with the story structure, but I understand what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then my other question then would be, did you like it as much as the first one?
That was the thing, because I understand how people like, because I would actually say yes. I did like it better than
think
the
a lot
first
of people
one.
are saying
And
yes.
I loved the first one. The
Yes.
first one made me super happy. There was so much that I liked about it, but it looked like this was one of the ones where they managed to ramp up the love story and the senseless comedic violence to an even greater degree.
Sure.
While at the same time just choking you with callbacks and inside references and references to the previous film and going back. It was just machine gun like with all the jokes they had in and out. All the little the little callbacks and cameos and stuff. It was just, it's one of those where you want to watch it a couple of times in a row just to see what you missed the first time.
I watched a YouTube video where this guy deconstructed the movie to 600 Easter eggs, and he's like, and I'm pretty sure I didn't get all of them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
There were
Yeah.
tiny little things. It would just be like, you know, something as innocuous as just a little item on the mantelpiece. You know, where it was just like, I remember what that's from. Yeah. It was.
I don't know how you even begin to start making a movie
Yeah.
like that. It's so insane.
Yeah.
I liked it as much, but not better than.
Yeah.
I liked
agree.
the first
Yes,
one
as-
better.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
I think.
Yeah, I think only I agree with that statement, but it's only because it's hard for me to be objective about the second one because the first one was so like intentional, so important kind of to this type of film, and there's not a lot of these.
No, it was definitely the gatekeeper for this, you know?
And so I'm trying to like separate it to like try to be more objective about it, but the first one just holds such a special place.
Oh, and the first one
Yeah.
was brilliant. It was
So
nothing short
good.
of brilliant.
Yeah.
The thing that I was worried about was that Tim Miller, who directed the first one, was so good because he and Ryan Reynolds, honestly, like it was two sets of hands that wrought the magic of the first one.
And then he
when
left the
they-
second
Yeah,
one.
when they did not bring him on for the second one,
I think he was attached, and then
He
there
was.
was creative differences between him and Ryan Reynolds or something. Yeah,
I think it was him and Fox.
him and Fox.
for
okay.
that one,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and that they elected to change things up. But
Got it.
but otherwise it was like he's gone on to other directorial work and he's been phenomenal at it. So
Yeah.
good for him.
I'd like to
especially
see-
for a first-time director.
Yeah.
you know. But nevertheless, for the second one, boy,
It also
they-
makes me want to see Ryan Reynolds, and also those mid and post credit scenes are just insane.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yep.
But it makes me want to see Ryan Reynolds in more of that.
Yeah.
That position of things, because as far as I know, this is his first really big stronghold on a film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because he's normally just acting.
Yeah.
But anyways, you were gonna say Cheska.
Oh, we were actually agreeing for
Oh. For once, no.
Oh,
All right,
We-
is it
we-
is
we
it
agree
solo
on
time?
it's solo time.
Okay, are we spoiling or not?
I haven't seen it either.
Okay, no spoilers.
Okay, so no
Spoilers.
spoilers.
Well, if it's still in the theater, maybe.
Yeah.
it'll-
Yeah,
you
sure,
know.
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So I kind of dragged my feet. Like me and the producer actually went to go see it, but we kind of dragged our feet to this one.
Sure.
We didn't want to. His expectations were high. Mine were
Mine
just.
were low.
Your were
My
low.
expectations were rock fucking bottom.
So okay.
I even said, like, it's going to be really interesting going to see a Star Wars movie expecting it to suck for once.
Yep.
Which
Okay.
which a lot of people felt.
And I had some expectations for it, and I was just like, oh, okay. So basically, the story is the prequel, the origin story of Han Solo, and where he gets from point A to point B, and that he meets Lando, he meets Chewie, and of course, there is a secret love interest, and then of course, there is the one thing in the end where people stand up. I know you stand up.
Yeah,
you
No spoilers. I
No
will
spoilers.
say there is a moment that was so shocking. I slammed my popcorn to the ground and stood up.
Yeah, and I honestly
I had to
thought
hold him
it.
back a little bit, and I was like, calm
I
down.
was
He's
what?
he's
That's-
gonna fight the projectionist.
It was the fanfare. There's a lot of fanfare in this movie, but that was like if you're a fan of, especially of the animated series, this would really gonna get your goat going. And I felt the
my.
same exact way.
Okay.
I couldn't handle how I felt. Yeah.
I'm going to see it on Tuesday.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and see, it's better if you didn't see the animated series first because it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It really does come out of nowhere, and so you're just like kind of left
to
hanging.
the point of being confusing a little bit.
Yeah, because
A lot of people were confused. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's.
But
one
honestly,
of the
I feel like if people hadn't seen the animated series, they would be like, "Wait, who the fuck is like? Wait, I thought he, you know, like I don't want to say
that
anything."
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it was so confusing.
So the thing is, I haven't seen the animated series, and I saw that, and I knew it was the end of the movie, and I was just like, I am honestly angry that we're getting episode 9 before I know what this is.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I've got a non-spoilery question. Which animated series are we talking
Both
about?
of them.
Is it?
Oh, both Clone Wars and.
That's a little bit.
Okay.
Too
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. That's it. I just it was like, all right.
I enjoyed myself, but I wouldn't. I don't think it's like the best
For
Star Wars
beat,
movie.
it's a heist movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I like those.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to turn it into a genre film, which is what they did with the last Star Wars story as well, which was like a military film.
But the thing is, like,
Yeah. I liked Rogue One.
I felt like he didn't carry as much weight as Han Solo.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that I didn't enjoy because I'm like, Woody Harrelson carries it a lot more.
Yeah.
So
It's
he's
hard
a lot,
not to when you're Woody Harrelson, though.
So so because he's like, I have more of my.
Carry everything.
Right?
He carried Now You See Me 2 twice.
The best.
Yes.
He's
so
really coming
that's a
to his
little
own.
bit of a problem because you actually see Han Solo as a pretty boy and just like, okay, but how did he get to the scruffy nerf herder? And and
That's actually interesting.
can I just spoil just one thing? The only character development is that he turns sideways. That's it.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
learns
yeah,
to
yeah.
turn
I
sideways.
remember
That
that.
is
Yeah. That's
that-
actually kind of
Disagree
awesome.
with that, but I think that's a funny bit. So I'm
Yes.
gonna give you that.
that is the only thing that I have, and I actually, like I said, it was okay for the other casting, like the other people, the supporting actors, but I wasn't interested in Han. That
Okay.
was
That's what I
didn't-
heard from a
yeah.
lot of people.
I heard
I-
that from a lot of people.
lot
I
of-
think in general the character development was lacking.
It was-
and
yeah,
that's one of
definitely.
my common things that I am like, hey, you need to really talk about all the characters here in a like much more detail. I need to get to know these people. So, yeah.
So did you, as an ensemble, were you guys happy about this? I mean, like you said, maybe he wasn't the star so much as we would have expected from a solo movie. But did you like the cast?
I liked I enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed Emilia Clarke. I actually enjoyed her a lot.
Yeah, she was great.
So
Yeah. Sandy Newton, she was great.
yeah.
I mean, for the short time that she was in the movie, she was great. Sorry, that was a spoiler. And then, and then,
I could
Yeah.
not stop.
Oh,
See-
yeah.
I could not stop seeing him as a
Paul
vision, though.
Bettany, yeah.
I really couldn't. I was like,
What? He's been in a million other movies.
And
Why?
then the robot.
Just seen it.
We did just see
we've
Infinity
seen
War.
Infinity War like 2 to 3
Yeah.
times.
Hey, what are
Yeah.
you doing? You don't have a cape on. Yeah.
The droid was really good. I liked her a lot.
L337.
Yep.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it is cute
Yeah.
until we read it.
She's played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's the girl that does that show Fleabag that everyone likes. I haven't watched
Yeah.
it yet,
I
but
didn't know.
Although the
I'm-
best droids
yeah.
are from the Rebels series.
Yeah.
Yes, both of them.
It scared me.
It's not really a story spoiler, but watching a gonk droid just smash a keyboard with a
that was
trash-
super
like a
funny. I loved all the little droid jokes. That was really
That
good.
was
tray.
great.
Just going gonk, gonk, gonk.
I heard
okay.
some people calling that part kind of like insensitive to kind of like modern movements or something, but I was like, no, it's an allegory. It's
Yeah.
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 What were you gonna say?
I heard that too.
I felt it was uneven
Okay.
as a movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
You
did.
mean like
I
separate from
well,
Star
I didn't-
Wars?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? I mean, outside of like fanfare, and
Yeah, which is a
fan-
lot of.
Yeah, what's actually happening here, and I mean, it was a troubled production, so I mean, I can't.
Oh, yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
knock
Right,
it for that.
yeah.
There's two different. Well, I guess two separate sets of directors at one
Yes.
point.
Right.
How
Yeah.
many?
Ron Howard
like,
finished
Well,
it off.
Yeah,
the
how many
original
shots
the
were-
original was the duo. I don't remember their names. But
Not
there
the
was
Russos. The
no. But they're not brothers.
Oh,
they're just
oh.
it's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
one,
like-
yeah. I know
That's
what
a
you're
thing
talking about.
now. That's
Yeah.
two directors,
directors.
and
Yep.
I can I don't know. I think one of the things was like the tone. There was parts where it kind of sort of veered off into sort of comedic, and then it had to sort
because
of.
that's what they
Because
want.
that's what
veered
they
back.
wanted, and they had to like, okay, come on, well, let's and
Sure.
it just stuff like that.
They
stood
do
out.
that in the other movies though a lot.
That's
to be
true.
fair, yeah.
And I will say, that's what I give. What my biggest thing about the Avengers. I think the Avengers, the first Avengers especially, is the best Incredible Hulk movie. That's been the Avengers.
Kind of like the Iron Giant is the best Superman movie.
Almost, yeah. And so I would say
Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie.
Solo was an amazing Chewbacca movie.
I totally
Okay.
agree.
That, he was the Hulk. He had his little development.
It might be
He
the
had
best
his
introduction
little-
to a character in the
Yeah,
Star Wars
absolutely.
universe.
I enjoyed that. Like
Okay.
that's what gave me that part was like.
Did it scare you a little bit when the little translation kind of came on?
His
The
little,
subtitles.
his little.
Did it scare you a little bit because the film was kind of like you were thinking that it was going to go into this direction,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like sacrilege. No, no,
Oh
we-
no.
Wait, wait, no, that's okay.
Okay, I immediately picked up on what that meant, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no. It was Lord and Miller. That's who they were.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, they subtitle it whenever other people are speaking Wookiee,
Uh-huh.
but not when Chewbacca.
No,
speaks.
yeah, it was getting into that sacrilege point, but it was just like
They
okay,
didn't do it.
They
Yeah.
didn't do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it was
yeah.
good. It was really well done how they did that scene though. In
Yeah.
general.
Right.
So
yeah.
and as scenes go, it was good. Like I knew like the serious parts
Right.
were homages to like old Western films and everything. So like the close-up shots of the gun and whatnot. It was fine. I have contention with one little shot of that, but we talked about it.
We did.
Yeah, the Instagram filter.
Oh
shot.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that was an interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't even pick up on it until
Yeah.
you mentioned it. I
Yeah.
can even picture it in my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah, interesting. Anyways,
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I think that like I wouldn't give it like I didn't like it more than like Last Jedi because I love Last Jedi.
yeah, I
but
did too.
I
did
do.
too. Yeah.
But
All right, you guys
it was.
can finish.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of fun. I actually like that Star Wars is still like, okay, so they did the original series, which is high praise from everybody universally.
Right.
They did the prequel series, lauded or in the negative sense, and then now we're in this in between where people like and don't like the sequels. The box office says differently because everybody they always seem to kill it, except for Han Solo, which is the worst opening in 12 years for a Star Wars movie. But it's still doing better than most movies.
Right.
So yeah.
I think a good
Like, I would
balance.
just like to point out, I came into Solo expecting to absolutely hate it, that it was going to be the worst Star Wars movie, but I still went into the theater.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's really what
That's
it is.
the
Everybody's
point.
gonna go watch it regardless.
people are gonna see
but
it.
are they gonna
because they're
rewatch
like,
it? Is
well,
the question.
That's probably not going to be the case. for
It
some-
isn't. I think this past weekend it was like in the tens of millions in the box
Well, I
office.
haven't
I
even
would-
rewatched Last Jedi, which I want to, but I haven't.
What-
So, I mean,
I mean,
I was gonna say,
as
what
far-
is the worst Star Wars movie?
oh God,
Episode 2 is my least favorite.
episode
Okay.
Yeah.
one
Oh.
or two.
Okay.
I would
For
say
me.
episode 1, episode 2, close second worst, and then Last Jedi.
Okay.
Okay.
I think episode 3 was better than Last Jedi.
I agree in that I
I
think
disagree.
episode 3 is
Ooh.
actually like should be higher up than people give it.
so
Yeah.
as far as
I
prequels
think
go,
episode 3 is
I-
okay.
how would you compare it to like say Rogue One in like tone and everything? Because it's
Similar to that.
It's still in this time frame.
It's hard to say though because
It's-
Rogue One is so different than the rest
Yeah.
of Star Wars movies.
That's one other thing I would want to say about Han. It was really kind of murky with the timeline a little bit
Yeah.
to me.
Oh, well, you figure it out at the end though. Is
Yeah,
that
well,
is,
yeah,
is
yeah, but I
no,
mean, like,
well,
how-
not really. You don't figure it out at the end.
I knew
because,
immediately
well,
where we
well,
were.
we
in the
knew where
timeline.
he was going, but yeah, go ahead.
You're figuring out where he's going, but at the same time, there's still like a huge gap left. Like
Yeah.
you get the vague sense of the idea,
Right.
and it kind of a little bit dropped the ball a little bit by killing off.
Right. Yeah, like I said, it left me kind of with a little more questions than say Rogue One.
Sure.
And I think, and that's probably the only
By design, Rogue One isn't meant for
Right.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
and they leave, and like with this one, it's like, well, okay, and then I'm pretty sure that this one is they want to come back to it. So
well,
that could
with the
kinda
announcement of what are we talking about? Obi-Wan and Calrissian movies, I believe, are both both slated now. I think
Yeah.
that's official.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
and-
Obi-Wan was supposed to be
Yeah, that one's
the
good.
next one. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
officially.
Do I want the Lando movie to continue after Solo or to be before Solo?
Yeah, that's true.
Right,
yeah,
right,
Lando before or after he meets Han. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
I really liked Donald Glover as Lando.
So
though.
did I.
Oh, he was great.
I
I thought he'd be better.
To
be honest with
you.
that was like I'd heard that. Like obviously, I haven't seen it, so I can't really offer an opinion. But I heard other people saying that.
No,
just that he
it's
wasn't-
good. It's him. It's
He's-
amazing.
I think
He's
he
sort
was
of a
good.
character
Fucking
actor in that
huge
he always plays the same. Like he's just him.
Okay.
Like he always plays
I think he was
himself.
good. I think it was actually they didn't really know what they were gonna do with Lando, other than just have him
Yeah.
Lando?
be a character.
Yeah.
I think,
like
yeah.
this Lando. I don't know how he becomes Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
See, and that's the problem with this. Is it's like, how does character A become the
I-
character?
It's
Here,
my
though,
problem with
to be
Solo.
fair, though,
Yeah, fair.
I can see how Babyface Han becomes Scruffy Nerf Herder Han. I can see how that sort of character fall happens. I cannot see how Donald Glover, Lando, becomes anything other than older Donald Glover.
I forgot to mention that Boba Fett movie is also slated.
Oh,
I don't know of
okay.
those
Okay.
three. I don't know which ones are official yet. But to be fair, though, as far as how does he get from point A to point B, Lando Calrissian, he's in the original series for like a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like
That's
same
fine.
thing with Boba Fett. Like people
Yeah.
are like so like he's in it for like 1 second.
Yep.
Yeah, but everybody wants a Boba Fett.
Everybody
I get it.
Everybody's
I mean, he
like,
shows up in the
Boba Fett.
prequels
so
though.
much
The
fanfare
yeah,
about
The
Boba Fett.
holiday special.
the holiday.
Right.
My brother is probably screaming like a little girl if he's finding out that there's a Boba Fett movie because he was obsessed.
It was every
with
little
Boba
boy's upset.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that and Solo. Actually, it was kind of cool because I hear. I mean, I'm not from that time period, but like it was like you're either
so
you're a
bad.
Solo or you're a Luke or like, which one
Nice.
are you? Who do you want to be?
That loner kid. I'm a
Oh,
Boba.
Leia.
Or Leia.
I mean,
yes.
Duh.
Anyways, that was our very an unspoilery, bordering unspoilery
Borderline.
review. Spoilish. Yeah.
We tilted a
Review of
little bit.
Solo
A
and
little bit.
Deadpool 2. So that was the longest. What are you watching? I've ever
We've
been
ever
in.
Yeah. You took a hard ride
I
on
think
that
I
one.
think next time what we should do is try to go through and name all of these characters.
I
Yes.
literally
Yeah.
did that
I've
while
been-
you guys were arguing
I'm-
over the movie.
I can't see the bottom, so I'm not. I can see the
Would
Joker
love
and
to do. I'm gonna do that after this.
it looks like
Most
Mugatu.
of those bottom characters.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah, it's
that's
Jacob
Game
and
of Thrones
Mugatu.
in the bottom
Joker,
right.
Joker, Mugatu. I
Multipass.
can't see the next.
I can
two.
see multipass at the bottom.
Multipass.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
Lilu.
okay.
Anyways, this is I
Anyway,
love this
we'll-
artwork.
we can
Anyway.
get to
Yeah.
that later.
Anyways, on to our next segment, required viewing. So 2 weeks ago, our required viewing, or 3 weeks ago, it was suggested by Stephen Blacksmith to do Polar Murder on the. I almost said Polar Express. Murder on the Polar Express would have been a very different movie.
That would have been. That would have been.
yeah.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch
actually.
that. As
Yeah.
as creepy as it was,
With that
I think
awful
that I think
animation.
adding that element would
Would have been
actually
good.
like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
boost
love
it.
Tom
There's a
Hanks,
reason
but
for
as
his uncanny
CGI,
valley
not
face.
so much.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was CGI. Whatever it was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I don't think any of us ended up watching it, and it was kind of a reboot of Screen Source, anyway. So I'm
watched
calling it. Oh, you did? How did you like
No.
it?
I liked it.
Okay.
I'm like, I liked it.
The new or the old version? Which one did you watch?
Which
New.
one? The
Murder on the Orient
Yeah,
Express.
new one.
New
Yeah.
one. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
Cool. So
Yeah.
you're saying like good? Go watch it.
If you like mystery movies, if you like Sherlock Holmes type of mystery movies, then
Okay.
you should watch it, and that's the basis I'm gonna get.
Is it correlate to the book?
That is it's close to the book,
Okay.
so that's the thing is
My one like
one-
wish was that it would have been really cool if they had multiple endings for different movie theaters or
Like
different.
they-
Yeah,
Clue,
like
yeah.
Clue.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That's the only thing that you can actually praise about, and this is terrible. Johnny Depp dies. That's all you.
Oh no.
Well, now I know he's not the murderer, unless
yeah,
maybe he
well,
is. Yeah.
Admirable.
Well,
Very.
you know.
I hope a woman
that's
kills
the
him.
murder on the.
Yeah. Because the whole thing is just it's the fact
It's-
that it is the universal spoiler, but
Yeah,
we
but-
won't get into that.
Anyway, so as this kind of fresh
The
reboot,
Titanic sinks.
and with the new movies in mind, we haven't done a lot of like theater required viewings in a while.
Yeah.
So
But
my
I think we're all on board for this one.
we're all on board for
Yeah.
this. I
Yeah.
think it is required that we all go watch Hereditary and then talk about it next week.
Dope.
I think
Okay.
so. I'm on board.
And I can't hold in my excitement.
Let's all go get scared on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Or Thursday.
Or
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe we can go together. That would be cool. Anyways, yeah, and then next week somebody else will choose a required viewing, and we'll move on from there.
Cool.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Hereditary next
Right
week.
on,
So in our last little segment,
Yeah.
I have I can't believe I'm giving myself a little praise here, pat in the back, that I can still come up with these games. We're 34 episodes in, and I was like, what haven't we done? What haven't we done? Last franchise based on toys standing is something we have not done.
Wow.
And so I took some digging around to find some like cool ones and interesting ones that I didn't even know were toys first. But anyways, let's go through them. G.I. Joe, we all know from the TV series. I'm sure. Oh, they made movies also,
There's
right?
Yep.
movies,
They
yeah.
made a handful of
Fight for
movies.
freedom wherever there's
Um,
trouble.
Lego, obviously. I think it's just movies. I don't know that they did TV shows.
I think they got shows
there's-
now.
there's-
I
yeah,
think they have
nowadays.
TV shows
Okay.
now.
Okay.
The Ninjago thing was a TV show before it became a movie.
Oh, and you know
Oh,
what?
okay.
What was the other one? The one where they had all of the very New Zealandy kind of sounding names.
I don't
You know.
know.
Oh, the Bionicle?
Yeah.
Bionicle.
was a series of direct-to-DVD movies. It never actually had a show.
Oh, it was Bionicle
But I mean,
Lego?
it was based off of Lego
Yeah, it
properties,
was based
though.
off of
Yeah.
Lego
Oh.
properties.
Okay.
Show
Yeah.
those, so those ones I think was done.
I thought Bionicle
Right.
was like a ripoff.
No.
No,
No.
it was just a.
It was,
Okay.
Got
it
it,
was
got it.
Lego. Nice.
You do the right too.
Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
The right two there. If you want to just name them.
On the bottom, you mean?
Yeah, the on the top right and the bottom right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got Transformers here,
Mm-hmm.
and and those were awesome. I
TV
mean,
shows and movies.
TV
yeah,
shows and
as
movies.
because they did the
Various
TV
iterations.
show, super awesome. The movie
Not
made me
super
very
awesome.
unhappy, especially as a child. You know,
Very polarizing.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Orson Welles' last role. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Oh,
yeah,
One
and
out with a
that is
bang.
so sad.
right.
Right.
Kind of literal.
Yeah.
A little.
And the other one.
Boy.
And then the other one would be Masters of the Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
You're the
Yeah.
you're the only He-Man in my life.
Oh, buddy.
Oh,
Yay.
so
But yeah,
sweet.
so
It's a bromance.
and it was so funny to think because the little books that they had with these, because I used to have all of the Masters of the Universe. They're somewhere in storage. They've probably been stolen by now. But yeah, I had so many back in the day. And it was so funny because the little books they had really treated it like fantasy novel
Okay.
kind of stuff. It was not like whimsical He-Man. It was weird how serious
like
Are
to
it
those
was.
think-
man boobs?
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
manny faces and manny boobage.
Okay, guys, who are like the
And
who's like
tiny
a
shorts.
Wow.
Yeah.
who's like a popular like romance film with like cheesy covers on them with the
Fabio?
guy? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I like to imagine that like the He-Man books were like it's He-Man's Fabio on the cover, and they're all
Right.
romance novels. That would have
Yeah.
been
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
I'll take the bottom left too, just because it's kind of weird. Mars Attacks.
Okay.
Mars
Apparently
Attacks.
was it was Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Without an exclamation point. It was a trading card game.
Yep.
I didn't know
It was
this.
tops,
Yeah.
And then eventually
movie
got made
was
into
awesome.
a movie by
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, thank you.
That
Yes.
scared the shit out of
With an
me.
exclamation
Yeah.
point on
Yeah.
the
Right,
movie.
No,
right.
that,
Yes.
that gave me nightmares.
Oh,
for
it was
life.
fun. It was a really
great.
fucked up
Oh, it
movie.
was great. I loved
I
it.
still will not watch that movie to this day.
Right.
No,
right.
Like, because you get to
No.
yeah, you get to watch.
right.
If you don't like celebrities, you will get to watch them die horribly in this movie.
Oh my
fun.
god, but it's
All
so
right.
shit.
I'm changing my required viewing to Mars Attacks. No. And the
Don't
bottom one,
traumatize her.
which
more
I did
than
not know
necessary.
was a thing, is Digital Monsters.
Digimon.
Was originally like a Tamagotchi, they were trying to pick up on the steam of Tamagotchi.
man.
Yeah,
I used to
right.
have
And it was running
Tamagotchis.
concurrently with with Pokemon. at
Yeah.
that point.
And long.
Yeah,
Yes.
Pokemon was a video game first.
Is that the little thing where you like have to feed it?
Yes.
Yes.
And you push the little buttons and you
Aw.
discipline it
And
if
it would
poops
die
in the
if you
house.
didn't,
and,
like-
yeah, and then if you did, basically you didn't really have the. Well, it depended on some of them because before it was like if you killed your pet, then the game was over and it didn't
Permadeath.
work anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom permadeathed mine because I was I remember it was like in second grade or something. I was like, "Can you watch my Tamagotchi while I'm at school? I can't have this at school." I was a good kid.
Nice.
And then I come home and she's like, "I'm so sorry. I dropped it in the toilet." And I swear she did it on purpose. Fuck you. No, I'm just
my
kidding.
Oh man.
Happy Mother's Day.
I remember like my friend and I going to the movies and being like, "Oh my god, how long is this movie? Is it gonna be okay?"
They're Tamagotchi.
And we're like, "Okay, fine, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
We'll just keep
Lot of
checking on
bathroom
it."
breaks.
Just go into class.
I had a Tamagotchi keychain that I got as a
Nice.
premium
Right.
from like McDonald's in
Oh,
the late
that's
90s.
so awesome.
Nice.
It was cool, whatever the little black and red one was. Yeah, I had that.
Those
And
are
I-
great.
yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, this game is last franchise based on toy standings. So we are going to one by one eliminate each of these things, and the last one standing will be the best franchise based on toys
Okay.
Oh,
ever.
I think I know
Um,
which one Digi would choose because it's his name.
Yeah. Our
His
per-
face lit up
I mean,
like
there's like
Christmas.
no clues whatsoever about that.
So how about us three go first, and then we'll let one of them to choose a last, just because.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. So I'll go first. I'll eliminate. Which one do I? Well, okay. If I go first, you guys are gonna be mad at me.
No, do it.
Okay, I'm eliminating Masters of the Universe.
All right.
I never actually really got into the cartoon, but also was a little like before my time.
Yeah, it's also like a lot of it is not accessible.
Oh, sure.
You know?
I hear it's
yeah.
actually
And
hard to watch now.
Yeah.
especially now
yeah.
because there was like no violence in the filmation stuff back then.
And then a Masters of the Universe and Transformers were literally made to sell toys. Like
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
the whole basis of the cartoon.
Yeah,
was to
there's
sell
a Netflix
toys.
original called Toys, I think.
Yeah.
That's
Made Us.
the Toys That Made Us,
Yeah.
which I think He-Man is one of the episodes, and
Yeah.
hers is really well done.
And it's there's a reason they're hard to watch because it was an
Yeah.
extended toy commercial.
sure.
basically.
So yeah, that's my choice.
Right on, right on.
Oh, are we going you guys first and then us?
oh no,
one of you two.
It was either one of us. You can totally go next if you'd like.
Sure. I'm gonna get rid of G.I. Joe. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't
All
hate
right.
me. Okay.
All right. I'm going to get rid of Lego.
Whoa.
It no longer brings
Crying.
me joy.
Lego Batman.
Lego Batman did really well.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't.
I loved
didn't
it.
It was
actually
great.
like it as much as the original Lego movie.
It was just the
Yeah,
fact that
the, like,
it's
original
been
Lego
over
was better.
commodified to the point that I'm just not happy. The fact that they have to kind of stick a fucking Lego template on everything now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it's like, okay,
Okay.
you can't have your superheroes now unless we Legofy them and make that shit silly. And then it crosses all of these different worlds. It's like, I'll be fair because I probably somewhere my nephew started crying and didn't know why. I'm gonna take him to see Lego Movie 2 just to make it up to him.
Sure.
But yeah, otherwise it was like there's so many ways that they've done this. It's not the same toys that I grew up with.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
and that was
Sure.
something that I had to.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, you did it.
Not
You
offensive.
took the hard stance. So which one of you
Yeah.
want to choose next?
Okay, I'm gonna choose next. because
Okay.
I am so afraid.
Bad decision,
So
Stanley.
I am so afraid because like someone's gonna leave Mars Attacks on it. I'm taking that out.
Oh man, I like that
Take-
movie a lot.
I
I
like
am
that movie
taking
a
that
lot.
down
Yeah,
out of principle.
There we go.
I like
Okay.
that movie a lot.
So the last franchise based on toy standing is
I'm gonna have to. So I'm gonna have to take out,
Take
and that's
out.
the only reason is just sort of. I'm gonna have to go with Digimon.
taking out Digimon.
Taking out or making
No,
it
taken out.
Taking out.
right? Yeah. See, I knew it was gonna be unpopular.
See,
Well,
never
You
seen
know,
it
and I'm going on like okay, the Transformers I would say has the most actually out of all those maybe has the most history. There's the original cartoons. There's one of the original like movie cartoons. You know,
oh, I
with
forgot to
Orson
mention
Welles.
He-Man is being made into a film. right now.
Another
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
yeah.
It
And
had
Masters of the Universe
I
film, yeah.
loved Masters of the Universe too.
And they
That's-
put
I was like-
Transformers across multiple brands. It
And
wasn't
it's-
just Marvel.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah, and then Transformers has a like a and then more shows and then movies. So
Lots of
I'll give it
spin-offs
to-
too,
the
right?
Lots of
first,
spin-offs.
The first live action movie was not like I didn't hate it,
I like the
Right,
first one.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I don't know.
see, I see. I see Beast Wars. I
Right,
I
there
grew
you
up
go.
with Beast
Right, there
Wars.
you
I
go.
grew up with all
And
that.
Well, that was
Yeah,
more our
and-
time.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's
And then
our
the thing-
time in the 80s.
And then right, like with Digimon, however good it is or isn't or whatever, like it's just really just its own little sphere, like just the cartoons and
Hard
the little
stares
things,
from
right?
the
Is there?
producer.
Yeah. Well, the video
His name is
games, I
Digi
think.
again.
do
Oh, they're
okay.
video games. Yeah. See,
yeah.
I was like,
You see,
okay,
I'm gonna have to give you some history lesson.
okay, let's have it.
Here's the thing. though.
More hard
Here's
stares
thing.
from the producer.
Particularly with these, you saw a couple of these other ones got eliminated because whoever it was that eliminated them didn't know that much about
That's
it.
true.
You know?
That's true.
And with Digimon, how many of us, if we put all of our heads together, are going to be able to put it together more than a page of understanding about
True.
it?
I
You
don't know
Yeah.
It
anything
has to be
about
something that we understand to be able to make it the best.
And-
Maybe later I will look back on this
hands.
and be sad, but I know it's something that's good.
Actually,
And
I
that's
know
why it was up
half
there,
this room
but-
has seen. I used to watch a lot of it as a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, so-
I'm sure
Right.
I did. I just don't remember. But if I had to choose one of these, I would choose Legos because I don't really know a lot.
Yep.
Because I didn't really play with a lot of this stuff, to be
Sure.
honest.
Yeah, your opinion and mine came from the opposite ends of the.
Yeah.
If Michael Bay makes a Digimon movie, I will totally I'll reverse.
If it's a Digimon
Yeah.
movie, just fucking shoot me.
So to be absolutely
If Michael
clear,
Bay makes
Yeah,
any
fair
more
enough.
movies,
Fair
if he
enough.
keeps ruining shit,
Just like take me out into the Arroyo in the back and just leave me there.
he
In case-
ruined my freaking Ninja Turtles, my beloved
did.
Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
He ruined
We
man.
them.
don't trust this man with our toys.
Lovable aliens.
Yeah.
in case this wasn't clear,
Yeah,
our
lovable.
producer's nickname is Digi, or everybody, most people call you Digi, and it's based off of Digimon, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I had
yes.
no idea.
I
That's
had
cool.
no idea.
From
Nice.
my first internet handle that I made in like 2001.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
it was at the height of like season 1 Digimon.
What's your favorite Digimon?
My favorite Digimon, I think, would probably be like at the time it was Weregarurumon, but because I was kind of like wolves and stuff. Yeah. But going back after the modern rewatch, I just love how sassy Tentamon is.
Tentamon, is that
Is that
the?
like an
the
octopus
ladybug-
thing? Oh, it's a
ladybug
ladybug.
guy.
I remember
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, yeah. Cute. Anyways, so the last franchise based on toy standing is Transformers, and that's you're right. It has a lot of history to it,
Sure.
and it's still
I'm just
around.
going, yeah, I'm basing it
Again,
on that. And like I said, I
Shia
don't know.
LaBeouf.
There you go.
Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf.
All right, let's go to
We digress.
our last segment, which is trailers. I believe we only have a couple trailers that we're gonna get through here, and oops, sorry. The game here is we either watch,
right.
rent, or skip that movie or television show. And again, we're doing 2 of them, and then we're going to do a completely separate video for Peppermint, that trailer. So I forget which ones I chose, honestly. Oh, our first one is Night School. This is official trailer number 2. This one was trending a lot this week, so let's see what's going on.
Teddy Walker, what brings you back to Piedmont?
I'm glad you asked. Right now, I have an amazing job in sales. Honk once if you love chicken. Honk twice if you love the Lord. I'm here now to get my GED.
You would have to go to night school. You're in my house.
Are you doing a black voice?
No, I don't hear color.
Okay, night school people. You're the night school teacher?
No, I'm just a bitch that like to wear blouses. Yes, I'm the night school teacher. Let's do some introductions.
Hey, yo, what up? I'm Bobby. We can Skype into the class.
Yeah, if you're doing time at the Georgia Correctional Facility. You're next.
Was that
Name's Jalen.
How about you, man?
Fat
I
Joe?
dropped out of high school, so I wanted to get my GED before I have to live in Randy's parents' laundry room.
My name is Luis. I'm going to become a singer-songwriter.
Oh, like Julio Iglesias?
No, not like Julio Iglesias.
It'll be a long semester.
That's what's up. She's not like the teachers that we had back in the day. This woman is a brick wall.
School policy, if you don't pass that test, you're out.
Got it.
We're gonna have to steal the test. Really? What? Why didn't you wear black?
Laundry day.
So you wore yellow?
It's fresh. It's clean.
You killed my face.
Yo, there you go. Yeah, it had to be him.
What you
It
got?
had to be him.
You gonna take my car with my baby in the back?
Clean up baby in there. Right there. Wham. Wham. Teddy, this suit you got on is dumb as hell.
I am where I'm supposed to be.
At a fast food joint next to a strip club.
If I stand in the right spot, I can smell cocoa butter and fried chicken at the same time.
Take this suit off. You gonna take this test.
I need you to go out there and I need you to stall.
No, I can't flirt. And my day was innocent. Now it's all about the butt. I heard a guy say, I'm gonna crack that butt like a walnut. Why would you start there? Wouldn't you want to start in the front?
Stop it.
Are you trying to get your GED?
Yes. This dance is for students only.
Get out my way, bitch. Hey, yo, Bobby, watch out!
Put the Pythagorean theorem. The issue is you're clinically dumb. I knew it. There's no cure for what you have. Oh my God. I got learning herpes? There's no such thing as learning herpes. I'm blistering up. Teddy. You want to smoke some weed?
I'm sorry, what?
Ring. What's the square root of 81?
What?
What's the square root of 81? I don't know. What you doing?
Nice.
Right on. All right.
Yeah, how you feel?
I don't think I've seen many trailers that had that many laughs just in the trailer itself.
That's true. That's
Sure.
Like that. Well, because I mean, we've been fortunate enough to see a lot where we've been cracking up watching these things.
Right.
But yeah, that was a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting so much Fat Joe in this film.
Nice.
Apparently, he did the whole soundtrack and his acting. I guess there's a resurgence of need for Fat Joe. Was he in the Diplomats? I think was the name of his rap group. I used to be really into Fat Joe.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Was it?
I
It was
love
also
that song,
Terror
Lean
Squad,
Back.
right?
Terror
Terror
Squad.
Squad. That's what I was
Okay,
thinking of.
Terror
Diplomats is
Squad.
different. Yeah, it's good. Tiffany Haddish, how are you guys feeling about her?
I'm good.
I'm on board.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
funny.
she's
What did we
funny, but
just
I don't
hear?
know. She's not like super funny. Like I don't think she's my favorite female comedian. out
I'm
right
kind
now.
of
That's fair.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Right.
on the same
Right.
boat. I don't like her comedy doesn't. I don't connect with it necessarily.
Yeah.
But clearly she
She's
is.
a good fit for
blowing
this
up.
one.
Yeah,
Yes, she is a
definitely.
good
Clearly
fit.
she's blowing up and she's a good fit for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
I,
she's-
I
and
want to see
I'm-
her and Kevin Hart.
Right,
kinda-
yeah.
Was it Claws that she was on?
I don't know.
No, I think that's Niecy Nash.
She did the,
No, I know it was Niecy Nash.
That's Niecy Nash.
It was the Bad Girls Trip, or not Bad Girl. The one they just
Oh,
she
yeah,
just
yeah,
come
yeah,
off
yeah.
of.
The girls
Girls
Trip one.
Holiday or
Girls-
something like that?
Girls
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
Girls Trip or
Yeah,
something.
she was like the
yeah.
breakout character on
Okay,
that one.
all right.
So that's kind of she's kind of
Okay.
a rising star now.
She's
Yeah.
she's having
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
her stand-up career is blowing up.
Yeah.
She's
You had
doing all right.
mentioned the other, the black gentleman that was in the back of the classroom.
Romany Malco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it again one more time.
Romany Malco.
Romany Malco.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That
He
guy's
was in
hysterical.
Weeds and
Oh my God.
40-Year-Old
And
Virgin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good in that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm not 100% a Kevin Hart fan. There's some it's kind of hit or miss.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this is one that I would watch. Just
Sure.
like it would
I'll
look
watch it at
funny and
home.
like yeah.
And
You
who was
know?
the guy in the? Was it Jason Jones from The Daily Show? The dude in the yellow.
Yes.
no,
Yes.
Rob Riggle.
Rob
Rob
Riggle.
Riggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he
Rob
was
Riggle.
also
The
in
guy
21
that
Jump
Scott
Street,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
gets compared
Yeah.
to all
Okay,
the
that was a
time.
dumbass movie that made me laugh my ass off.
He's-
it was
he is-
21 Jump Street.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I love that.
He's
Rob Riggle's
great.
really funny.
He
Yeah.
is really funny, and
He's
he was like
very
an
funny,
army
man.
ranger. Like
Yeah,
he was
he was
like
badass.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
I can see
literally
that.
like in the military.
I think
yeah.
That movie Get Hard with Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart was actually really got me. Like it was really
The
funny.
Dewey Cox story.
No, the other one.
Hard.
Oh, the
Rob
one where
Riggle.
he
I was
goes he
thinking
goes
of
to
Walk
prison,
Hard.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Rob
my
Riggle
God.
was on Anchorman as well. He was the
Right.
boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very early on, one of the circuit board members, Scott, used to be compared to him, like in the Twitch chat,
my.
which was pretty
Which
funny.
is funny.
What does the chat have to say about us today?
Oh no, I'm
well, we're not
worried.
live
No.
anymore.
All
So,
right.
anyways, was that a watch, rent, or skip for you guys?
That one, yeah, I'll watch it.
Watch. I'm going on rent.
Rent.
Rent. Okay. Yeah.
You know.
All right. Was that all the trailers?
There was that. There's the Peppermint one that's going to be separate unless you guys wanted to do the video game trailer.
No, we'll do those at a different time. I
right.
think that was it for the
Cool.
trailers.
Awesome.
The only time I think we've ever done one. It wasn't a big week for trailers.
No.
It was a bit.
trailers for all of this week's stuff months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And we did tack on an extra half hour discussing Solo.
Oh,
there.
yeah, we
Yes,
did.
We did.
Well,
and
I'm like,
Deadpool.
I have no frame of reference here.
So stay tuned for and by stay tuned I mean click on the other video that we just uploaded for Peppermint. It was a Peppermint trailer reaction. Jennifer Garner's new film. I know nothing about this. This is going to be a very
No.
interesting watch. Kind of has an Alias feel, I think. The poster doesn't say that, but from what I understand of the movie. Anyways, we are live almost every day at 7 p.m. MT on twitch.tv/ColorsTicketLive, where you can see more film, video game, and comedy on our channel. Thank you to Digi, our producer, for helping us out here today. We're sorry about the Digimonster stuff. Make sure
You're still the man, Digiman.
Yeah, you're still the man. Make sure to tune in tomorrow on twitch.tv. Make sure to tune in tomorrow to our Twitch channel for Sit Down and Pile Drive, our wrestling podcast with Connor and Connor. Do any of you have anything that you want to plug?
Not at the moment. I have some things in the works.
All the
but
upcoming
definitely-
things, just
in
happened
progress.
last night.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you can make it out to Geeks Who Drink, though, what nights of the week is that?
We do pretty much every night of the week except Fridays. But the one that I work, if you want to come see me, Insult Drunks, will be Wednesday nights starting at 9 p.m. at O'Neill's Nob Hill.
Awesome. I believe I have a stand-up show on June 30th for the one-year anniversary over at Rio Bravo Brewery. I don't have that date probably correct, but I will be there performing. Any of you have anything you want to plug?
I am going to be selling vintage and some modern clothing at a pop-up shop event in July. It's on July 15th at Sister Bar. It's called Moonstone, and it is primarily female vendors, so pretty empowering.
Where can they find your stuff online?
You can find it at Hippie Amber Vintage, which is spelled HIPPIE on Instagram, and I will be uploading more to eventually, hopefully, Etsy and Depop.
Awesome.
I like your outfit, by the way.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Etsy, I still have stuff in the works, but I could just pop in and say for Sit Down and Pile Drive, which I'm a producer for. So so it's Connor, and Cheska.
Connor, and Cheska. You'll see more Cheska tomorrow.
Yes. Cool.
Please like, follow, share, and subscribe this video and everything else that we do on, again, twitch.tv/ColorCircuitLive, youtube.com/ColorCircuit, facebook.com/ColorCircuitLive, Instagram at color.circuit.live, and Twitter at CLRCircuitLive. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.